Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto became merged with Kyubbi since Kyubbi sealed into him and changed him into a red-haired girl. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. It was night, 10th of October, just like another peaceful night in Elemental Continent, but not for Konohagakure no Sato, the strongest of all the 5 great shinobi's village in Elemental Continent. The Kyubbi, the most powerful of the 9 Biju or tailed beast, had decided to invade Konoha with an unmeasured rage level. A mountain-sized fox with crimson-red eyes with cat-like slits for pupils, orange-red fur, long ears like rabbit, and 9 tails swung madly behind it. Each one of its tail was powerful enough to make tsunami, destroyed a mountain or created tornado with a single swing of its tail. The Konoha's shinobi blessed with many powerful jutsu. All of them were fighting with all their might in order to force the beast back to its realm and save their loved hidden village, but the strongest of the 9 Biju were too powerful for them, and they began to lose the forest, surrounded the proud Konoha's shinobi corpse. Filled with the sounds of explosions and the voice of shinobi who shouted jutsu. However, their hard work only made the king of Kitsune even more outraged. In HOKAGE's tower, at center of Konoha. Namikaze Minato, Konoha's Yondaime HOKAGE, as known as the Yellow Flash and the hero who brought Konoha to win the Third Great Ninja War, had been busy to make a seal on his newborn baby for his new jutsu, which was the only one that can defeat the Kyubbi no Kitsune. The jutsu allowed the user to call the Shinigami, the god of death, who would took the Kyubbi's soul from its body, but the side effect of the jutsu was the user's soul would be taken too, as a reward for the Shinigami's great service. The young Yondaime planned to seal Kyubbi's soul into a newborn baby. Why he chose a newborn baby? Because only a newborn baby who still had not a solid chakra system could handle a Bijuu's chakra, as the baby's chakra system would grow up and would be able to handle the strain of the Kyubbi's demonic chakra. He did not know if everything would be alright, but he hoped, after all he was the truly genius who could create a new jutsu and seal on the spot, rather than spend a lot of time to develop an experiment. The only capable candidate for the jailer of Kyubbi no Kitsune was one and only his newborn baby. Uzumaki Kushina, as known as Namikaze Kushina, the mother of the baby and his wife, had died an hour ago because of her body could not handle the blood lost from giving birth for the baby, and Tsunade, the best medic nin in the Elemental Continent, who could have saved her. Was long ago left Konoha because of her tragedy accident which took her precious people's life. Minato looked at the fox had gotten closer. Jiraiya, his sensei, the one of the Densetsu, legend, Sannin, and Hiruzen Sarutobi, the previous Hokage, the Sandaime appeared behind him with a puff of smoke. Is the boy ready? We don't have much time, said Jiraiya with serious tone, but his eyes filled by sadness. Minato took a last glance at his son, and he looked to them. He handed a paper with a picture of the seal array to them. Well said, hi, please put him on the altar and draw this final seals. I have to finish this as soon as possible before it become worse. Sarutobi looked at him, his eyes also filled with sadness, he spoke lightly, like a whisper, why have to end like this? You and Kushina were supposed to live happily with your son, as the perfect couple. Why must like this? I don't know, but what done is done. I am the only one who can do this, and my child is also the only one who can help me to defeat this beast. As he said that, he disappeared in a yellow flash, after took a last glance at his son. My son, I am so sorry. Okay, let's do this. Said Jiraiya half-heartedly, and started to draw the seals with his sensei. At the battlefield with the Kyubbi in the forest around Konoha. Suddenly some Chunin and Jounin shouted, their voice filled with hope and happiness, Hokage-sama is here. As voice echoed among the battlefield and lifting everyone's spirits. Guchius no Jutsu. Summoning technique, a massive puff of smoke, Gamabunta, the chief of the Toad summons with red skin, an open blue jacket, a smoking pipe, and a sharp wakizashi, Japanese short sword, in its hand appeared in the battlefield. Nice to meet you, my friend, Gamabunta. I am really grateful for your help me to hold Kyubbi a little while I prepare the jutsu, said the Yondaime. Gamabunta looked up at his head to see who had summoned him, though he already knew who it is. Minato, so you had finished that jutsu, huh? Okay, I will hold him. Farewell, my friend, it was my honor to have you as my summoner, even if you were such annoying sometimes, said Gamabunta with deep and strong voice, and Gamabunta jumped and charged the Kyubbi. Gamabunta leaped to the right to evade the fox's tail, blocked the second attack with his sword, and grabbed one of the 9 tails with his free hand and throw the Kyubbi back, but Kyubbi countered Gamabunta move with its claw and leave a scar in his left eye. After that, the Toad boss forced it back to his realm to heal his injury, but Gamabunta had bought the precious few seconds for the young Yondaime to make the hand seals. Shiki Fuin. Corpse demon seal exhaustion, cried out Minato. As he cried that, a big shadow formed in his back and slowly revealed a Shinigami. Who summoned me and what is the reason? spoke the Shinigami, who was tall and had purple skin, sharp shark-like teeth, snow-white wild hair running down, narrowed eyes with black color and thin yellow slits in its pupils, and wore pure white kimono. Shinigami-sama, I, Namikaze Minato, Konoha's Yondaime Hokage, have summoned you. I need your help to stop the Kyubbi no Kitsune, or else my village and its entire people will die, said Minato with brave voice. The Shinigami was impressed. This human would sacrifice his life in order to save his people, like a true leader should. I see, but you have known the cost, haven't you? Once this is over, your soul will be mine. Is this okay with you? Asked the Shinigami. Yes, so please help me to stop it, and my soul is yours. As the Yondaime Hokage of Konohagakure no Sado, I will protect this village like I am supposed to do, no matter it will cost to me. Replied the Yondaime with no regret in his voice. What do you need me to do, young one? Asked the Shinigami again. Please remove its soul. I plan to seal it, and I will need you to power up the seal with your chakra to make the Kyubbi soul one with its host soul, said Minato. Very well, replied the Shinigami while he thrust his hand forward and grabbed Kyubbi's soul. He removed its soul out from its body with his chakra. Kyubbi body fell into ground and turned into ash because of its soul had taken by force. Minato and the Shinigami and moved to where Jiraiya and the Sandaime was via Shunshin. Back to Hokage's tower, at center of Konoha. Minato and the Shinigami appeared at the seal altar via Shunshin, while Jiraiya and the Sandaime had finished the seal. Thank you, Sensei, Jason. I will take over from here, said Minato. Sandaime and Jiraiya nodded and left the room. Is this the host? Asked the Shinigami when he looked the boy. Yes, that is him. Kyubbi's soul and chakra will be sealed in him and channel a bit of your chakra to power up the seal, and all done, said Minato. Very well, when you have done, tell me, replied the Shinigami. He put his hand in the baby, he transferred the Kyubbi's soul into the baby and used his chakra to power up the half-done seal, and he looked at Minato hand seals. With the last hand seal, Minato flared his chakra and shouted Shisu Fuin. 4 symbols seal, but something strange happened when the seal done. The baby engulfed with red crimson chakra and the seal in his body merged into a 9 tails tattoo in his forehead and 3 lines whisker marks appeared in his cheek. The baby appearance changed from a blonde-haired boy into red crimson-haired girl. What happened to the baby? Asked Minato with shocked expression in his face. Looks like this is the side effect for use my chakra to power up the seal. As a result the Kyubbi and the boy merged together, said the Shinigami. I see, for 1 hour I have a son and now my son changed into my daughter, said Minato. So what will I do? If like this, the villager will see my daughter as the reincarnate of Kyubbi, not as their hero, and they will make her suffer. Minato's face saddened after he said that. So the Kyubbi's host is your own flesh. I was very impressed. Very well, I will take her to my realm as your reward for your bravery. However, because my realm is the realm for the death, so this baby will older slowly than the other human as the consequence. For example, when the other child who birthed at same year with her around age 12, this girl more likely 7 years old than 12 years old. Unfortunately, she only can live in my realm maximal for 10 years. After 10 years, she has to continue her life in this world. Are you okay with that? Explained the Shinigami. Thank you very much, Shinigami-sama, replied Minato with a happiness tear in his eyes when he heard that his son his daughter will be safe in the Shinigami realm. Before I take your soul, I want to ask you what name you will give to your daughter. Asked the Shinigami. I plan to name him Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, but since he changed into a girl, I have to give her another name, replied Minato. Very well, I will give her a new name, and from now her name will be Namikaze Mizunaru Tauka, An. Mizunaru Tauka name is an anagram from Uzumaki Naruto, said the Shinigami. Why you give her family name Mizunaru? Asked Minato. Because my family name before I became Shinigami was Mizunaru and Tauka was the name that I planned to give to the next heir, my unborn daughter, replied the Shinigami. Mizunaru, don't tell me you are from Mizunaru clan, the mysterious clan in elemental country, which disappeared more than 1,000 years ago, said Minato with shocked look, his jaw nearly hit the floor. Yes, I was from Mizunaru clan. However, unfortunately I did not have any successor, so I plan to make your daughter as the successor of the Mizunaru clan, if you don't mind. Don't worry, I also will teach her about your ninja knowledge in my realm as well, so she will inherit your jutsu and knowledge, said the Shinigami. Yes, I owe you a lot, Shinigami-sama. Now I am ready, you can take my soul now, Tauka-chan, you have to be a good girl, replied Minato as he saw his daughter for the last chance. After heard that, the Shinigami took Minato's soul and brought his soul with him along with the baby to his realm. Time skip. 13 years later, in Konoha. It had been 13 years after Kyubbi accident, Konoha had fully restored from Kyubbi's damage. Here is in Sarutobi, the Sandaime Hokage became Hokage again as replacement of Namikaze Minato, the Yondaime Hokage, who died because of sealing Kyubbi when it attacked Konoha. His son, who would become the Kyubbi's host, disappeared in the night when Minato sealed the Kyubbi. The Sandaime commanded all of his Anbu to search the boy, but the result was negative. Now the Sandaime was in his office as usual and gave the Konoha's nin a mission. Well, as you know, missions were the main income for Konoha. Sandaime smiled when he saw that Team 7 and Team 8 entered his office to take their mission. Team 8's first member was Inyazuka Kyubbi, the second heir of Inyazuka clan, as known as the best tracker clan in Konoha. The second member was Hyuga Hinata, the first heir of Hyuga clan, the best clan in Konoha. And the last was Aburam Shino, the heir of Aburam clan, a clan who used bug to help them in combat. Their Jounin instructor was Yuuhi Kurenai, Konoha's Genjutsu expert. Team 7's first member was Uchiha Sasuke, the Rookie of the Year, and the last member of Uchiha clan, who massacred 5 years after the Kyubbi attack by his older brother, Uchiha Itachi. Haruno Sakura won for the Uchiha's fangirl and the best kunoichi, in written test actually, in academy. The last was Marino Idate, Marino Ibiki's younger brother. He called the dead last, but his speed was the best in academy. Their Jounin instructor was Hada Kakashi, Konoha's copycat ninja who has copied a lot of ninjutsu. All of the team member bowed to the old HOKAGE and waited for their mission. I see that both of team has worked hard since you graduated from the academy. Now I will give you C rank mission for both of team, spoke Sandaime. Both of team was cheered after hear that, except Sasuke. The mission is help and protects a bridge builder in Nami no Kuni, Wave Country. Here is the mission detail. You can enter now, Tazuna-san, said Sandaime as he tossed scroll to Kurenai and Kakashi. The door to the office opened and revealed an old man around 60 years old with a bottle of sake in his hand. He bowed to the HOKAGE. My name is Tazuna and you will be guard me while I return home and complete my latest bridge. I expect you all do everything to make sure that I'm safe, even if it cost your life. That was ninja's way, isn't it? Said Tazuna with cocky tone. No genin like this old man's attitude. Do not worry, Tazuna-san. You have the best genin teams and 2 experts, Jounin replied Kurenai. I wish you give your best in this mission too. You can dismiss now and good luck, said Sandaime. All of the team bowed to Sandaime and left the office with Tazuna. Okay, now you have pack for 3-week mission and meet me at the main gate in 2 hours, said Kakashi when they left HOKAGE Tower. Both of team nodded and left to their home to get ready. 3 hours later. The genin teams were on their way to Nami no Kuni. Team 7 walked in front of Tazuna and the other team walked behind him with Kakashi and Kurenai beside him. The entire team member enjoyed their trip until Kakashi and Kurenai saw a puddle of water on the road. They both knew that puddle was a simple genjutsu, but they acted usually. The only genin that know that were Hinata, Sasuke and Shino. The other members were too busy to aware that genjutsu. Idate and Kyubbi were enjoyed their friendly chat and Sakura was daydreamed about Sasuke. All of the team passed the puddle and the puddle formed 2 missing nin behind them. The missing nin wrapped Kurenai and Kakashi with their razor chain and tore them into pieces. Idate, Kyubbi and Sakura frozen when they saw their sensei killed in front of them. Sasuke and Hinata quickly charged the missing nin. Sasuke locked their razor chain with shuriken on a tree and Hinata attacked them with her Gyuukin style while Shino guarded Tazuna with his bug. However, that was not enough. The missing nin nearly approached Tazuna and ready to attack him. Suddenly Kakashi and Kurenai appeared behind the missing nin and knocked them out. Good teamwork, you 3. You can counter 2 Chunin level nin in your first C rank mission, said Kurenai to Hinata, Sasuke and Shino. She changed her look to Idate, Kyubbi and Sakura who were still frozen. You 3 will have an extra training if you still like this. You will let our client in danger, continued Kurenai to Idate, Kyubbi and Sakura with disappointed tone. Anyway, Tazuna-san, I hope you tell us the truth and I think we cannot continue this mission. This mission rank is A rank, not a C rank. This mission rank is too much for genin, said Kakashi with serious tone. Oh okay, I'm sorry that I lied to you, but I had to do it. Nami no Kuni is very poor condition right now thanks to a man named Gato, and even our daimyo can't afford anything higher than a C rank mission, replied Tazuna. It's okay if you want to abandon this mission, but my daughter will cry all of the night and my grandson will work as a slave in young age, continued Tazuna again with the sparkling eyes. You think a ninja will fall to your trap that easily, thought all of the genin except Idate. That too sad, we cannot let that happen. Let us finish this mission. Shouted Idate with anime-style tears in his eyes. All of the genin sweat dropped when they looked Idate. Is this truly Ibiki's brother? Their characters are too much different, thought Kakashi while he placed his hand on his forehead. Okay, let's take a vote, or you all agree to continue this mission with a risk we will encounter a Jounin rank missing nin, or abandon this mission and back to Konoha? Asked Kurenai to all of the team. All of them agreed to abandon the mission, except Sasuke. When they told the Jounin to abandon the mission, Idate interrupted them with shouted, we will not abandon this mission and back. We rarely have a mission like this. If we back to village, we will have the cat from hell mission again. The rest of the Genin team quickly changed their mind and said in unison, "We'll continue this mission." Kakashi and Kurenai's sweat dropped when they heard all of them. "Okay, we will continue this mission," said Kakashi in defeated tone. "Are they more fear to our daimyo's wife cat than Jounin level missing Nin?" Thought both of Jounin. 2 hours later. Tazuna and the Genin team arrived on the other side of the unfinished bridge and they met one of Tazuna's friends who will help them to across the river since the bridge was not connecting yet. They found Azuki, and this character is Anak, Tazuna's friend, was weighted them with his medium-sized boat. "Whoa, this bridge is really big," shouted Idate when he saw the unfinished bridge. "Well, after all, this bridge is my masterpiece. When it finish, it will be the most beautiful bridge in all Elemental Nation and it will make Nami no Kuni free from the tyranny," replied Tazuna with pride in his tone. "By the way, Tazuna, have you heard a rumor about Gato?" asked Azuki. "No, I have not heard any rumor about him since I left Wave." "What is it?" replied Tazuna and all of the team focused to Azuki. "I heard that an unknown person had been slain the entire bandit that hired by Gato and now he hired a lot of shinobi to protect him from this guy," said Azuki. "If you do not mind, do you know where villages this person come from? Do you know any specific about him?" asked Kurenai to Azuki. She looked interested with Azuki's story. "I am sorry, I heard this person only wears a black long cloak with a hood that always covered that person's face and have a long katana." "Oh yeah, some bandit who were arrested by the villager," said a demon with blazing red eyes and red hair, but he did not saw the person clearly and can confirm the gender because of mist, so we don't know the person's gender, said Azuki. "What any else do you know about this person?" asked Kakashi. "I am only known that all of Wave called the ninja and Patsushikuganachite, flame-haired red hot-eyed hunter, and I took this title from Shakugan no Shana because it fit with images of Taka since she has red eyes and hair." "Oh, I am sorry, Tazuna, I cannot take you all any further than this," replied Azuki. "It's alright, my house is near from here," smiled Tazuna. Tazuna and the Genin team continued their way by walk. Tazuna-san, is Nami no Kuni always have thick mist like this?" asked Sakura. "Yes, Wave Country always has mist every morning, but I have not met the mist so thick like this," replied Tazuna. "Wait, I smell blood in front us," alerted Kiba. "Hinata, look what happened in front of us with your Byakugan," commanded Kurenai. "Hi Byakugan," replied Hinata while she made a seal and activated her Byakugan. I see someone surrounded by a group of bandit about a mile in front of us," reported Hinata. "Let's take a look," said Kakashi and all of them rushed to the fighting location. In the fighting location. When the Genin team arrived in location, they saw about 20 bandits surrounded a petite figure with black cloak and a long katana with red hilt. Idate nearly jumped to interrupt that bandit, but he stopped by Kakashi. "Looks like you have a bad day. If you want to life, you have to give all of your goods and money to us," said the boss of the bandits. However, the figure stayed silent. That annoyed all of the bandits. "Aniki, looks like we have to use force," said one of the bandits. "That was good idea. Boys, attack," commanded the boss bandit and the entire bandit charged the figure at once. The figure unsheathed the katana and took a fighting stance. Mizunara Ryu Kenjutsu Kai no Hakakushi, Mizunara style swordplay. Tree leaf concealment, a voice came from the figure's mouth while swung the katana widely. The leaves from the ground rise and made a sphere that surrounded all of them. The figure blurred from the bandit's vision and disappeared. What happened here?" panicked a bandit. "You raise your sword against me first, and now you will regret that," a voice echoed, and the Genin team heard a scream from a bandit inside the sphere of leaf. After a moment, the leaf fell into the ground and revealed the entire bandits lay on the ground unconscious and the figure stood in the middle of them. What, how dare you?" shouted the bandit boss and charged the figure. After saw the boss charged, the figure sheathed the katana and took a stance. And like Kenshin Himura's Batajutsu. Mizunara Ryu Kenjutsu. Hidenichi no Kata Mizunara style swordplay. Secret technique. First form, said the figure as it drew the katana and disappeared with a black flash and revealed again a few meters behind the boss of bandit. The Kekitsurugi no Senki, flash of brave sword, the figure said as it sheathed the katana again, while the blood came out from the boss bandit's body and the boss bandit fell unconscious. Ghoul, muttered Idate after he saw the figure's action. "You all come out now," said the figure, and all the Genin team came out from their hiding spot. "A group of shinobi, huh? Are you with Gato?" asked a figure as it took a fighting stance. No, I am Tazuna, the bridge builder of Nami no Kuni, and they are Konoha shinobi that I hired to escort me and guard me until the bridge finish," introduced Tazuna. "Are you in Patsushikuganachite?" asked Sasuke, and the figure looked to the Uchiha symbol. "Yes, those villagers called me that. Are you having a problem with that?" the figure asked back. "I demand you to teach me those technique, I need it more than you," replied Sasuke with arrogant tone. "No, I don't want to teach someone like you. These techniques are for protecting who needed, not for revenge, Uchiha-san replied the figure. Before Sasuke said more word, Kakashi and Kurenai sensed something came to them and saw as Zanbatsu came with high speed. "Everyone, get down," shouted Kakashi, and all of them jumped down, while took Tazuna down to guard him, but the figure quickly blocked the Zanbatsu with its katana and threw it back to the attacker. "Just as I taught, you can block my attack easily, Uchiha," Hunter-san said. The man with bandage covered his mouth who just threw the Zanbatsu, and he looked at the Genin team. Well, no wonder that the demon brothers lost. You have hired a copycat ninja, Hada Kakashi, and Kano's Genjutsu mistress, Yuhi Kurenai. But it does not matter anymore, you all will die here today, continued the man while chuckled. Momochi Zabuza, the demon of mist, a missing jounin from Kurigakure no Sato, also is known as one of the 7 swordsmen of mist. Looks like Gato hired you. Team, take a defense position around Tazuna and guard him. I will defeat this man as soon as I can, said Kakashi, while he lifted his headband and revealed his Sharingan. Sasuke shocked when he saw Kakashi's Sharingan. "No, I will fight him, you just focus to guard the builder, he came here to fight me, not you," said the figure, while took a fighting stance. "So you choose to die first, Uchiha-san. I hope I can fight you later after I clean the mess," said Zabuza as he let some killer intent out and made all of the Genin team shaken with fear. "I bet you cannot do that, Zabuza-san. I never let you harm them, not a single hair," replied the figure. "Let's see how strong you are." Kurigakure no Jutsu, hiding mist technique, as Zabuza said that the mist became thicker than before and Zabuza's body disappeared behind the mist. "Hiding behind mist, you are too coward for a swordsman," said the figure while made a defensive stance. "You're too much talking. With this you cannot see me and you will die now," said Zabuza behind the mist. Zabuza charged the figure, but his attack always blocked easily. Zabuza made 10 Mizubushin and commanded them to attack the figure at once. "Maybe you can hide your body, but you cannot hide your chakra flow," replied the figure, while poured its chakra to its katana and spun its body. A big gust of wind with fire formed as the result of the figure's move and cleared the mist. All of Zabuza's Mizubushin who attacked the figure dispelled because of hit by the attack. "Mizuneru Ryu Kenjutsu Repasan Pujin, Mizuneru style swordplay. Searing Gale," said the figure. The figure's hood fallen and revealed 8-year-old feminine face with red eyes and red long hair which reached her leg. The girl wore a blue-color silk fabric as a bandana in her forehead and had 3 lines of whisker mark in her cheek. The entire Genin team and Zabuza dropped their jaw after saw that. "What?" asked the girl, she looks uncomfortable with their expression. "You Inpatsu Shakugan no Uchiha who dispelled my entire water clone in one blow or just a little girl?" said Zabuza, who's still in shocked state. "Hey. I never said that I am a boy," complained the girl. "You ashamed me, I will kill you now," shouted Zabuza in anger. He swung his Zanbatsu to the girl with all of his might. The girl blocked the attack, but Zabuza's strength was too powerful for her little body to handle. The girl thrown and crashed a tree behind her. "Ugh, his power is too powerful for me, I have to end this fast," thought the girl. Zabuza charged her with a wide swing and he thrown her into river. "This looks bad water, maybe I can end this now," thought the girl as she landed at the water surface. The girl released her chakra and a 9-tailed tattoo shined behind her bandana in her forehead. She poured her chakra to her long katana and several ancient words appeared in the katana's blade. After that, she trusted her katana to the water rise and spun around her body like a water barrier. Mizuneru Ryu Kenjutsu. Hiden. San no kata, Mizuneru style swordplay. Secret technique. Third form, said the girl as she took an offensive stance and ready to charge Zabuza while she spun her body and formed a drill water attack and like Kyubbi's Tsuuga, Suryu Kaiten Kajeki. Water Dragon Spin Attack, Zabuza surprised when he saw the girl's attack and blocked that attack with his Zanbatsu as his shield, but he could not block that attack any longer, so he had thrown and crashed several trees behind him. "Those sword and technique, no, you cannot be," muttered Zabuza while he tried to stand, but his body did not listen him because of his injury. Suddenly several senbon pierced several spot in his neck and he fall to ground. A nin with Hunter Nin mask appeared beside Zabuza's body and took his body. "Thank you for your assistance, Uchiha-san, I had been waiting for this moment since I had started chasing him, but finally I can fulfill my mission," said the Hunter Nin. The girl stayed silent while the Hunter Nin shined away. After the Hunter Nin disappeared, the girl sheathed her katana and began to walk away. "Wait!" shouted Tazuna when he saw the girl began to walk away. The girl stopped and looked at Tazuna. "Do you need something else?" asked the girl. "I want to ask you something. Do you mind if you also help the Konoha shinobi to fulfill their duty to protect the bridge's building progress until it finish? You know, if my bridge finish, Nami no Kuni will be free from Gato's hand," said Tazuna. "Understood, I will help you," replied the girl. "So it is decided. Now let us go to my house and rest. Tomorrow will be a hard day." "Let's go, Uchiha-san," said Tazuna. Aoka, said the girl suddenly. Excuse me? Asked Izuna. Denpatsu Shakugan no Uchide is the title that your village gave to me. I am not worthy to have such title like that. You can call me with name, and I have not introduced myself to you properly. My name is Taka Mizuneru. Taka, replied Taka. She gave a little bow to them. Taka, what a beautiful name. Let's go, Taka-san, said Tazuna. Taka just gave a nod to Tazuna and followed him silently. Mizuneru, I had heard that name before, but where? Thought Sakura while she followed Tazuna with her teammate. The Jounin followed them from behind while Kakashi read his favorite orange books. After several minutes, they arrived at Tazuna's house. His daughter, Tsunami, had waited for them. All of them finally decided to call it a day. Next morning. Heyo, Kurenai-sensei, Kakashi-sensei greeted the Genins when they came to dining room to take their breakfast. Heyo, replied both Jounin. All of the Genin took their seat. After several minutes, Tsunami came to dining room with their breakfast. Heyo, Mina. Huh? Where is Taka? Asked Izuna when he came to dining room. All of them shook their head. Batausen, if you search the red-haired girl, she already took her breakfast and went to lake behind our house, said Tsunami while she gave a bowl of rice to Tazuna. What a morning person, muttered Tazuna as he ate his breakfast. Team, after breakfast me and Kurenai will train you all for the next battle, broke Kakashi. What do you mean next battle, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Sakura, she looks confused. It means Zabuza is still alive, said Taka behind them and surprised all of them. Sakura nearly jumped because of that. I wouldn't do that, you baka. Shouted Sakura, but Taka stayed silent. She can hide her present perfectly like that, maybe she had trained to be a ninja, thought Kurenai. After they finished their breakfast, all of them include Taka went to woods near Tazuna house. Okay, let's get training. For now you all must train your chakra control, said Kurenai when they arrived in the woods. What have we do, sensei? Asked Sakura. And how about climbing this tree? Smiled Kakashi as he pointed to a tree. All of the Genin sweat dropped when they heard him. Are you kidding? We all already able to do that, even a little child can do that too, complained Kiba. Akamaru barked to Kakashi, looks like he agreed with his master. Maybe yes, maybe no, but you must not use your hand for climbing, replied the Cyclops Nin. What do you mean, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Idate. Maybe you have to see with your own eyes, said Kakashi while he began to walk on tree until he reached a branch and jumped down. All of the Genin looked aware after saw that. Taka just looked them while she sat on a tree branch near their location. Mizuneru-san, can you come here? I have a few questions for you, asked Kurenai when she saw Taka. Taka just nodded and she began walk down on tree like Kakashi did. The Genin surprised after saw that a little girl around 8 years old could did something like that. I see you can do that. Do you have trained as a ninja before? Asked Kurenai as Taka stopped near her. No, I never do ninja training and I do not know any ninja skill, just my sensei's technique and my father's jutsu, replied the red-haired girl. But, how can you do that if you never trained as a ninja? Asked Sakura curiously. It's just a basic training for my sensei's technique that I learned, include water walking, replied Taka. What technique that your sensei has, if you don't mind to tell us? Asked Kakashi. Mizuneru Ryu Kenjutsu, Mizuneru style swordplay, replied Taka shortly. Mizuneru, oh, I remember that, I have read that from a book in Konoha library. Shouted Sakura. All of the Genin saw her curiously. Sakura began to recall what she read and continued. Mizuneru clan was a mysterious clan that disappeared around 1000 years ago. This clan had known as the most powerful Kenjutsu clan in Elemental Nation, but this clan technique required all elemental affinities. It means if you want to master this clan's technique, you must have mastered all elemental affinities. And the head of the clan have a unique katana that called, if I didn't wrong. Ama no Murakumo no Tsurugi, sword of gathering cloud of heaven, interrupted Taka. All of them changed their look from Sakura to the red-haired girl. Yes, Ama no Murakumo no Tsurugi is an ancient katana that only can held by the head of Mizuneru clan. There is a rumor that if another person held that katana, that person will be burned by heaven flame. If Mizuneru-san's katana is the real Ama no Murakumo no Tsurugi, it means that only her that can held that katana, and it also means that she is truly the heir of Mizuneru clan, continued Sakura. I don't trust such fairy tale like that, and I still don't believe this little girl is the heir from that clan, said Sasuke with arrogant tone like usual. If you don't believe it, why don't you try to hold this katana, responded Taka as she stuck her katana in the ground. Sasuke nearly tried to grab the katana's grip, but he stopped by Kakashi. Let me do that, said Kakashi as he made a cross-hand seal. Page Bushin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique, shouted Kakashi, and a clone appeared beside him. Kakashi gave his clone a nod, and the clone holds the katana's grip. After that, several ancient words appeared in the katana's blade. Kakashi's clone burned by a red-crimson flame until it dispelled, and Sasuke looked still didn't accepted that. What is that? asked Taka to Kurenai. Taka looked interested to that jutsu. Oh, that was Kage Bushin no Jutsu or Shadow Clone technique. With that technique, you can make a clone of you just like Bushin no Jutsu, but unlike the normal Bunshin no Jutsu, art of the doppelganger, this jutsu creates not just an illusion, but real bodies of the user. The user's chakra distributed among the user and each clone, so you will die because of chakra exhaustion if you make too much clone. Because of that, this technique is forbidden for Genin and Chunin rank shinobi, explained Kurenai. After heard that, Taka took her katana and placed it in her back. She began to mimic Kakashi's move, she made a cross-hand seal and said Kage Bushin no Jutsu and 10 clones appeared around her. Both of Jounin widened their eyes when they saw that. I see, muttered Taka after she dispelled her clone, looks like she discovered new thing about Kage Bushin. This girl has talent as a ninja, she can copy a jutsu perfectly after saw it once without Sharingan and looks like she realized the unique of Kage Bushin that fast, thought Kakashi. Sasuke more angered when he saw that a little girl just surpassed him who was from the elite clan on Konoha. Wait until I unlock my Sharingan. If that time comes, I will steal all of your techniques, muttered Sasuke with light voice, but Taka and both of Jounin heard that. I think you cannot do that, Sasuke replied Kakashi, and he continued, there are 3 reasons that nobody can steal that jutsu from her. What reason? Do you think I cannot copy a jutsu just like you? I am the real Uchiha, shouted Sasuke. No, not like that, jeez. Okay, I will tell you. 1. I have tried to copy her jutsu with my Sharingan while she fought Zabuza, but she didn't use any hand seal to perform those technique, so Sharingan cannot copy that. 2. If I correct, her techniques require channeling chakra to that unique katana, and no one can hold that katana, except her. And 3. Those techniques looks like require a lot of chakra, I think you must have minimal Jounin level chakra to use those techniques, said Kakashi. But, how can this little girl use those techniques without suffering chakra exhaustion? Asked Sasuke. About that, you can ask Hinata, said Kakashi. Ayano, Sasuke-san, I saw her chakra system when she fought the missing Min. L looks like she has a large chakra source and unique, but she sealed her own chakra and only released it when she uses her technique, said Hinata. She looks feared with Sasuke's angry face. Sasuke didn't said anything again and looked depressed. But don't worry about that, you can be a strong ninja without Sharingan and those techniques. I know 2 people who didn't have Sharingan, but they can master a lot of jutsu, and they made themselves the most powerful shinobi of Konoha, cheered Kakashi when he saw Sasuke's depressed face. Who are they? Asked Sasuke. One of them is who has title the professor, or we know him as Sandame HOKAGE, and the second is my sensei, Konoha no Kairoi Senku, or the yellow flash of Konoha, the Yandame HOKAGE. And you must know a lot of nin that much stronger than you and me, maybe the HOKAGE himself, in this elemental country. Taka is the right example for this, so you must never give up and make yourself stronger than today. Of course, you must stay in right path and never stray to evil path. When that time comes, you will be stronger than your brother, smiled Kakashi. And? Wow, Kakashi is more like a wise guy in this story. Enough talking, you still have to complete this training or you will be left behind. Everyone has begun their training. Here, Sasuke, use this to mark your progress, said Kurenai as she threw kunai to Sasuke. Sasuke nodded and he began his tree climbing. Taka shocked when she heard about the yellow flash of Konoha and her eyes softened. She just smiled while she looked at Kakashi. Otu-sama, I have met your student and he had become a great teacher, I hope you always see and protect us for there, thought Taka as she looked to the sky. She left the Genin team to the deeper woods to train herself. At night, in Tezuna's house. Everyone had came back from their training and waited for their dinner in Tezuna's house, and a boy around 10 years old with black hair came down from upstairs and joined them for dinner while Tsunami and all of the Kunoichi busied prepared dinner in kitchen. Ah, everyone, this is Inari, my grandson, introduced Tezuna to all of the nin. Why do you try so hard, said Inari with low voice. Excuse me? Asked Idate. Why do you trying so hard like that? Yelled Inari. What do you mean, boy? We all try to help this village from Gedo. Kyubbi yelled back. You cannot defeat Gedo. You all going to die like the men who try to save this village and claim their self a hero. Inari yelled again. All of the male genin, except Sasuke, wanted to complain to the boy, but they stopped by their jounin. Inari. Stop it. Shouted Tsunami. Aside, you all know nothing about suffering. You all must be from a rich family and never suffered before. You all never have a loss. Just leave and back to your family, you cannot be a hero. Continued Inari, he didn't listen to his mother after all. Taka stood up, took her long sword and walked to the door. Ha! That was a best choice. The little crybaby girl cannot beat Gedo. Shouted Inari. Taka stopped when she heard Inari. You know, I was disappointed to you. You still have a nice grandfather and a gentle mother who will in your side when you alone as an only young man in this family. Your duty is protect your family, right? said Tauka with flat tones. "A crybaby girl like you knows nothing about loss and don't give me a lesson like you know me. Just back to your mom and cry," shouted Inari, but suddenly Tazuna covered his mouth. "Don't say like that, Inari," she said Tazuna. "I really want to do what you said, but I cannot. I never saw my parent, just heard about them from sensei. All I know that both have died when they protected a village after I born. All I have is my sensei until 3 years ago," interrupted Tauka, her voice filled with sadness and her eyes covered by her hair. After said that, she left the house and went to the lake. Anyone in the dining room stayed silent. "It was my first time I heard Tauka talk that much," shouted Idate happily. "Why do you so happy, Baka?" asked Sakura as she hit Idate's head. Tauka was rarely talked and she always answered our question as short as possible, and this is our first time we heard she talk that much. "This is a rare event," shouted Idate with a sparkling star in his eyes. He just recovered from Sakura's attack. "Just shut up, you loud idiot Baka," shouted Sakura while she slammed a frying pan. "And where does she get that frying pan?" to Idate's head and made him hit the wall hardly. Namu thought Kakashi and Kiba while they made a pray pose. "An. Namu is the word who always said by a monk with a praying pose, I think." "I bet she just lied to us," snorted Inari. "I didn't know about her, but I think she told us the truth." I sensed sadness in her word. "And she was right. You still have a family that can support you. I cannot imagine if she has to life with her own strength in a young age like that without a family," interrupted Kurenai. Everyone stayed silent again after they heard Kurenai's opinion. "Inari, you have to apologize to her when she comes back." Tazuna suddenly broke the silence. "I won't apologize to her. I just told the truth," Inari shouted back as he ran to his room in the upstairs. "Kusan, Inari just has a trauma. I think you too harsh to him," complained Tsunami. She tried to defend her son. "Yeah, maybe I am too harsh, but we need her strength to save our village from Gato. She is the only one who Gato feared. If she left us, Gato will make his move again. Moreover, she looks like Shina," replied Tazuna. He looked depressed. Tazuna and Tsunami stayed silent for a while. "Kusan, why do you think she can help us from Gato?" "She just a little girl," said Tsunami. "Maybe her body is an 8-year-old girl, but her speed and skills are nearly equal to mine and Kurenai, maybe surpass both of us. Except, she didn't know anything about ninja's technique, but she can did a ninjutsu that I performed with, just saw it once. Ma, I think she has a talent to become a powerful kunoichi, and maybe a genius one," interrupted Kakashi as he read his favorite books. Sasuke just gritted his teeth when he heard that. He really could not accept that. "But, she cannot defeat my Sasuke-kun. He is our rookie of the years, he can beat her easily," said Sakura with a love in her eyes. Kakashi and Kurenai just sweat dropped when they heard that. "No, you already saw her strength, but you still say that. And, your Sasuke-kun not just a rookie of the year, he is also a brooding asshole with chicken-style hair," thought Idate and Kiba at the same time. "We will search her and bring her back. It's already late, you should rest for your training tomorrow," said Kurenai and Kakashi. All the genin gave a nod. "Please bring her back. If she left because of this," I said Tazuna. "Don't worry, Tazuna-san. I think she is a strong girl, she will not abandon this mission because of this," Kurenai replied back. "Ayano, can I go with you?" I can help you to search her," said Hinata shyly. "It helps us a lot, but you should rest. You must tired from the training today," smiled Kurenai as she and Kakashi left the house. In the lake, near Tazuna's house. Kakashi and Kurenai found Tauka in the middle of the lake. She stood in the water while she gazed to the full moon. Kurenai wanted to approach her, but she stopped by Kakashi. So, they hid themselves in the woods. They saw Tauka took off her headband and revealed a 9 tails tattoo in her forehead. "That is a weird tattoo. Is that seal or just a tattoo?" whispered Kurenai. "I don't know about that. I am not a seal master, but I saw her tattoo always glowed brightly behind her headband if she used a difficult technique. Maybe that tattoo is like chakra storage for her," replied Kakashi, and they saw Tauka made a chakra sphere in her palm. When she finished made the chakra sphere, her eyes saddened. "That is Rasengan, isn't it?" asked Kurenai. "Yes, but how can she know that technique? The people who can do that technique are just Minato-sensei, Jiraiya-sama, and me," said Kakashi. "Otu-sama Akasama," said Tauka softly in sad tone, and her tears formed in her eyes. "Otu-sama? Is she?" said Kakashi suddenly. Kurenai looked at Kakashi. "Jiraiya-sama's daughter?" continued Kakashi. Kurenai sweat dropped when she heard that. "I think she is not. I never heard he had married with someone. If she is his apprentice that is can be accepted, and all that I know that Jiraiya-sama just interested to peeping woman's hot springs for your favorite pervert books," said Kurenai in mocking tone. She really didn't like that orange book. "Ma, don't say like that, this book is truly a masterpiece in the literature world and as the author, Jiraiya-sama truly a genius," replied Kakashi in proud tone. Suddenly a 3 projectile had thrown to them, which nearly hit Kakashi's face. Kakashi's eyes widened when he saw the three-pronged kunai. Three-pronged kunai, thought Kakashi as he took the kunai. "I'm out," said Tauka in her usual monotone voice, while she swept her tears away and drew her long katana. "Mama, I'm sorry about that, Tauka-chan. We just want to bring you back." Tazuna-san worried that you will leave and abandon his task because of his grandson, said Kakashi as he came out from his hiding spot with kunai. Tauka gave a death glare to Kakashi when she heard Chan suffix in her name. "Give it back," demanded Tauka to Kakashi when she saw Kakashi hold her kunai. She seemed relaxed a bit when she saw both of the jounin, and she sheathed her katana back. "May I ask you a question?" asked the Cyclops nin as he tossed the kunai to her. Tauka stayed silent. "Where do you learn about Rasengan and receive that kunai?" asked Kakashi. "Rasengan?" Tauka asked back. He means the jutsu which you just did," explained Kurenai. "I cannot tell you," replied Tauka with flat tone. The jounin looked disappointed with Tauka's answer. After said that, Tauka gave a bow to the jounins and walked to the woods. "Where are you going, Tauka-chan?" asked Kakashi. "I want to train a bit, please tell Tazuna-san. I never abandon my mission. See you later," replied Tauka as she disappeared in the deep of the woods. "Is she an antisocial? She always liked trying to evade us?" asked Kurenai after she saw Tauka disappeared in the deep of woods. "Well, let us leave her for now, maybe she need time to trust us completely." "I just wondered if she lives in Konoha, she would be taking the title as Icy Queen of Konoha from you, Kurenai-san." "Yes, your ice character cannot be compared with her," said Kakashi to himself while he read his favorite book. He wasn't realized his word triggered something horrible. "Kakashi-san, I hope you are known what just you said," replied Kurenai with a darkened face and a sadistic smile craved in her lips. "Oh my god, it isn't good. Now she is more like a bloody queen than icy queen. Maybe this is also the effect for too close with Anko," thought Kakashi. His sweat dropped when he saw Kurenai's anger. Kurenai-san, I just remember I have to do something. See you tomorrow," said Kakashi as he disappeared in the whirl of leave. "Get your ass back here right now or I will make you suffer with the most terrible genjutsu until your mental broken burn you include your pervert book into ash, Kakashi," screamed Kurenai with all of her voice. All of the bird around that area flied at once when they heard Kurenai's voice. "They are too loud," said Tauka. She stopped when she heard Kurenai's voice and she continued walk to the deepest part of the woods. "Somewhere in Konoha." "Achuo," sneezed Mitarashi Anko, the snake mistress of Konoha. She was enjoyed her dango and a bottle of sake with her friend, Yuzuki Yugao. "Alright, Anko-chan?" asked Yugao worriedly. "I'm fine, I am perfectly fine," replied Anko with a wide smile. "Someone was talking about me, maybe some handsome guy. I also heard Nai-chan's voice. Gah, it must be my imagination. I must buy more dango and some bottle of sake again to calm myself," thought Anko while she enjoyed her last dango. "Oyaji, one more portions dango and a big bottle of sake please," shouted Anko. "Hi. Coming up in few minutes," replied the owner of Dango's shop. Oi Anko-chan, you have enough sake today and or you have money to pay all your meal?" asked Yugao. Anko just smirked to her. Yugao felt something odd from Anko's smirk. "Of course, I don't bring any money today. You will treat me for today, aren't you?" smiled Anko as she started drank her sake. "Oh, no, my money for this month. I'm going to bankrupt if this always happen," thought Yugao with tears fall from her eyes. Next morning, in the deep of the woods. Tauka felt sleep after had an extra training last night. She slept peacefully beside a tree while hugged her katana. At the same time, Haku was doing her usual activity in the morning, gathered some medical herb for Zabuza in the deep of the woods. She saw Tauka slept in her favorite gathering spot and tried to approach her, but Tauka quickly drew her katana and placed it near her neck. "I'm sorry, I just want to wake you up. My name is Haku," introduced Haku, she still shocked. Tauka replied back as she sheathed her katana back. "Well, Tauka-san, why do you sleep in the forest like this? You will catch a cold if you sleep like that," smiled Haku. Tauka used her usual nature, always be silent. "Why do you keep silent?" asked Haku while a sweat formed in her head. "No reason," replied Tauka simply. Tauka-san. Are you a ninja?" Haku asked again. "No," replied Tauka. I see what I have to say. Oh. Do you have someone precious to you? You know, like who is care about you?" Look like Haku has a lot of trouble when she tried to make a conversation with Tauka. "I had but I have none now," Tauka replied. I see, but I don't really understand you. You should more open yourself to the other so you can find someone precious to protect and you will become much stronger than now," said Haku while she began to gather some medical herb. Tauka became silent again, but she helped Haku to gather the herb. You are really a silent type, aren't you? Well, I have to go. Thanks for helping me. Nice to meet you, Tauka-san." Haku smiled again. "Tell Zabuza don't work with Gato again," said Tauka as she left Haku, who changed her face mimic into a serious one. How does she know I am with Zabuza-sama? Did she know that I am a fake hunter nin? But why she warns me for not trust Gato? I better tell Zabuza-sama about this is thought Haku as she left the woods. Later, in Tezuna's house. Aoka came back to Tezuna's house. When she entered the house, Tezuna who saw Aoka quickly approached her and he hugged her tightly like a grandfather who found his granddaughter who missing for a long time. "I'm glad you don't abandon us, Taka-san. I am really sorry for my grandson," said Tezuna with teary eyes while still hugged Aoka tightly. Aoka just silent. "Dusan, you make her uneasy if you hugged her like that," complained Tsunami. "Ah, sorry." Tezuna immediately released Taka. "Don't mention it," replied Taka in her usual monotone voice, but in the deep of her heart, she felt a warm feeling like she had a family which she didn't had for a long time. "Well, I'm glad you back here. You can rest for this day as my apologize. I will back to bridge now," smiled Tezuna to Taka while he petted Taka's hair. Taka wanted to complain, but Tezuna had gone to the bridge. "I'm sorry for my father's behavior, Mizuneru-san. Here you tea," said Tsunami suddenly while she gave Taka a cup of tea. "Thank you," replied Taka. "The acts like this because you are look like Shina Onachan, and when we heard your story about your parent last night, we guessed you are her daughter, but that's impossible because you just 8 years old and Shina Onachan died 13 years ago with her husband," said Tsunami. "Your older sister?" asked Taka. "No, she isn't my real sister, but she was like my sister. She was the last survivor from Yuzu no Kuni, Whirlpool Village. My father found her unconscious in the river near his workshop 20 years ago and she lived with us for 5 years until Konoha recruited her to their shinobi rank. Last time we heard that she married with someone in Konoha, but both of them died from a battle with a beast which attacked Konoha 13 years ago and their newborn baby disappeared right after the attack," said Tsunami, her eyes filled with sadness. "Can I know her full name?" asked Taka. "Uzumaki Kushina, she had red hair like yours. You are look like a duplicate of her," smiled Tsunami. Taka's eyes widened when she heard her mother name. "Akasama, she lived here before she went to Konoha," thought Taka. A sad feeling pieced her heart, she really wanted to cry, but she gave her best to hide it. "What's wrong, Mizuneru-san?" asked Tsunami, she felt Taka's mood changed. "I'm okay," replied Taka, tried to hide her feeling. Right after Taka said that, the female members from Genin teams with Kurenai were back from their training. "Where are the others?" asked Tsunami to Kurenai as she gave them tea. "They are going to the bridge. Today is their shift," replied Kurenai. "How about refresh ourselves in hot spring near here?" offered Tsunami. "That's a great idea," shouted Sakura loudly. "Sakura, you don't have to speak loudly like that. You are a girl," complained Kurenai. "I'm sorry, Kurenai-sensei. But it had been a while since my last time to the hot spring," replied Sakura with a light blush in her cheek. "Hyuga-san, Mizuneru-san, do you come with us?" asked Tsunami. I'm in," replied Hinata. Taka just silent. "I will take that as an okay," smiled Tsunami while she dragged Taka to the hot spring. At the hot spring. All of them enjoyed their bath and refreshed themselves, except Taka. She just sat silently on a rock near the hot spring. "Mizuneru-san, why don't you join us?" asked Tsunami suddenly. Taka didn't answer her, but suddenly Sakura and Kurenai grabbed her, removed her clothes and dragged her into the hot spring. They could drag her easily because of Taka's little body and Taka didn't resisted them. All of them could saw a huge scar revealed in Taka's back. Taka just quickly covered her back with her long red hair when she realized her back were exposed and all of them saw that. "I'm really sorry, Mizuneru-san. I apologize," Kurenai when she saw Taka's scar. "No need to sorry," replied Taka. "If I can ask, why you have a huge scar like that?" asked Tsunami. "I have it when I became the head clan," said Taka. All of them confused when they heard Taka's answer. "I have to defeat my sensei for became the next head clan," continued Taka. "Why you killed your sensei?" asked Hinata. "Yes," replied Taka simply. "But why you killed your sensei? You said he was the only one who cared about you, you are insane," said Sakura with a semi-loud voice. "I have to," said Taka, her eye filled with sadness. "Sakura, cut it out, you cannot say like that. You know all teachers always want their students surpass them. However, some teachers do an extreme way to prove that their student had surpassed them, usually they prove it in a death match. If a student can kill his or her sensei, it means that she or he has surpassed their sensei," explained Kurenai. "He didn't die," said Taka as she came out from the hot springs and grabbed her clothes. "Was he survived from the death match?" asked Tsunami. "No," said Taka simply, while she dressed back and left the hot springs. All of them confused when they heard that answer, and for who confused when you read Taka's answer? Taka-sensei cannot die, he was Shinigami after all. "Oh. Geez, I really cannot understand her. She is too cold and always alone," pouted Sakura. "Sakura-san, Sasu-kun was like her too," said Hinata. Ah, she cannot be comparing with my cute Sasu-kun. Beside, you mustn't call my Sasu-kun like that again, and never use a suffix kun behind his name again, only me who can call him with that name. Shouted Sakura while she released some kai to Hinata. I'm sorry, replied Hinata as she closed her eyes. Are they really a shinobi? Asked Tsunami to Kurenai. I'm so embarrassed to say this, but yes, they are a shinobi. Hinata is a shy girl and always frightened easily, but she is very kind and care to the others. She never wants to hurt anyone. About Sakura, I cannot talk much about her, she only interested in love than shinobi world, and the loudest one, replied Kurenai while she placed her hand in her forehead. Tsunami just sweat dropped. It must be hard for you and Kakashi-san to train them, smiled Tsunami. Not far from the hot spring. Aoka left them not because she avoided them for ask about her life, but she sensed someone watched them since they entered the hot spring. And she found an old man with white long spiky hair and have a red mark in his face hiding in the bushes. He used a telescope to peep the hot spring while giggle happily. What are you doing? Asked Aoka. Will you scare me, little girl? I was in a research for my book. Now you must not disturb me or you want to be my research project. However, unfortunately I am not interested to a little girl like you. Now shoo. Said the old man. Pervert, said Aoka. No. No, you are wrong. I am not just a pervert, I am super pervert. Shouted the old man with a strange kabuki pose. He really proud to himself when he claimed himself as a super pervert. I said Aoka as she tried to slash the old man with her long katana, but the old man leaped back and avoided Aoka's attack. Oh, that weapon is too dangerous for a little girl. I think you are not know who am I, said the old man. He did a kabuki stance and slammed his hand to the ground. A human-sized frog with two katana in its back appeared under him. I am Jiraiya, the legendary Toad Sannin, as known as the legendary Lady Killer and the legendary author of the bestseller book in this continent, Icha Paradise. Shouted the old man. Aoka's eyes widened a bit when she heard the old man's name, she really didn't expect that her father's sensei was a pervert. Pervert Sannin, replied Aoka. Oh, you little runt, I said I am not just a pervert, I am super pervert. Shouted Jiraiya again, that word really pissed Aoka. I, pervert, said Aoka, and she tried to slash Jiraiya again, but this time, her long katana stopped by Jiraiya's toad with its twin katana. Please calm yourself, Aoka-sama, said the toad calmly. Who are you? Asked Aoka. I deepest apologize, Aoka-sama. My name is Gama-ken from Gama tribe. I beg your mercy for my summoner. Maybe he is a pervert, but he is a good guy, said Gama-ken. Okay, replied Aoka. She sheathed her katana back. Thank you very much for your kindness, Aoka-sama, said Gama-ken. He bowed to Aoka. Wait. Do you know this little girl, Gama-ken? Asked Jiraiya suddenly. Of course I know her, Jiraiya. She is only Shinigami-sama's student and trained by Shinigami himself. All of Summon knew her as well, included the boss, said Gama-ken. Jiraiya's eyes widened and his jaw dropped when he heard Shinigami name. Are you Ghost, Chibi-chan? Asked Jiraiya while he petted Aoka's head. Watch your tongue, Jiraiya. Aoka-sama is not a ghost, you have to behave yourself. Said Gama-ken as he hit Jiraiya's head lightly with his katana's dull side and he disappeared in a puff of smoke. That hurts. Well, what's your name, little one? Asked Jiraiya who still petted his own head. Aoka, and my full name is Namikaze Mizunari Aoka, said Aoka. Jiraiya's jaw dropped once again. She didn't hide anything now because Jiraiya was her father's teacher and her godfather. Wait a sec, you said Namikaze. Are you Minato's relative? Jiraiya didn't believe what he heard. Yes, I am his daughter, replied Aoka. You must be kidding. Minato and Kushina died 13 years ago, but you just 8 years old, said Jiraiya with bored tone. Like Gama-ken said, I trained by Shinigami-sama in his realm, I became old more slowly than normal human, as the price, answered Aoka. But Minato only had a son, not a daughter, complained Jiraiya again. Aoka just closed her eyes, she took a deep breath and untied her headband. A 9 tails tattoo revealed in her forehead behind her headband. Otu-sama sealed me into me, and he asked Shinigami-sama to power up the seal, but as the result both of us merged together and changed our gender. This is the proof that I am Kyubbi, replied Aoka, as she pointed to the tattoo in her forehead. Jiraiya became speechless after he heard her. I am that newborn baby and the Kyubbi as well. It's okay if you hate me for the accident 13 years ago, I will take any responsible for my mistake, said Aoka again, but her eyes filled with sadness and regret. Do you remember that accident 13 years ago? Asked Jiraiya. He used a serious mimic in his face. No, Shinigami-sama said, my memories as Kyubbi were also erased as the result of the sealing, replied Aoka simply. She had prepared for any punishment, but Jiraiya gave her a warm smile. So it has been decided. You cannot take responsible for a mistake that you don't remember. Beside I cannot hate my student's daughter, if I do that, Minato will angry to me smiled Jiraiya while he petted Taka's head. But I killed many people and maybe your family and friend Taka really didn't believe what she just heard. It's okay, what done is done. I already forgave you for what you do in past Taka-chan and what I see in front of me now just a girl who is my student's beloved daughter, not Kyubbi said Jiraiya. Thank you very much said Taka with tears in her eyes and she hugged Jiraiya tightly while Jiraiya petted her back to comfort her. She really happy to meet someone who can forgive her and not saw her as a monster. So what will you do for now? You know, your father wanted me to train you after you old enough, do you interested? Said Jiraiya. I love to, but I cannot do it for now I have to protect someone from Gato replied Taka. I see I will wait for you until you finish your task. After that, you can join me and took some training said Jiraiya. I understand, Jiraiya Dono please don't peeping my client again. I have to take my now replied Taka while she bowed to Jiraiya and left him. An. Dono is a suffix for show respect to the other people who has a better position in ancient Japan. It can translate it as lord. She has a nice manner. Your father will proud for you, Taka-chan. But she is too cold for a girl, I will fix it when we are in training thought Jiraiya and he continued his research again. A few hours later, back to Tazuna's house. Taka entered the house, but she found no one at that house and the interior of the house were messed. Looks like something bad happened in that house while she spent her time with Jiraiya. Something happened here I need to go to the bridge immediately thought Taka as she rushed to the bridge with all of her speed, but on her way to the bridge, she heard someone shouted near the house. Leave my mother alone. Yelled Inari to the two bandits who hold his mother captive. They had managed to drag her not far from the house. They must be Gato's henchmen. Look what we have here. A young boy who acts like a brave hero and try to save her mom mocked one of them. Let's take him along. He will be a nice hostage chuckled the other one. No. Just take me. Leave him alone. I will do anything, so please leave my son alone. Begged Tsunami, she beat her own fear with her will to protect her son. Gee. Fine, woman. I will grant your wish. Beside Gato wasn't interested with a spoiled boy, but we will have fun later with you. Hehe spoke the taller one. You heard that, brat. Your mother has begged for your safety. Get lost now. Shouted the other one while he pushed Tsunami to the bridge direction. Inari just stood in his place, shaking with fear, he had become a coward again. You know I was disappointed to you still have a nice grandfather and a gentle mother who will in your side when you alone as an only young man in this family, your duty is protect your family, right? Taka's words last night echoed in his mind, again and again. Inari recalled all what Taka said. He gathered all of his courage to beat his own fear. I have to protect my family as a man from this family I cannot be afraid, I have running away too long. I cannot lose to that little girl, I have to protect my mom. Murmured Inari as he took a wood bat and charged the bandit, but the bandits noticed Inari's action and drew their blade. What are you doing, Inari? Shouted Tsunami. The smaller bandit punched Inari and made him fell to the ground. Look like we cannot keep our deal, woman. This kid become more annoying, but don't worry he will happy in the other world, chuckled the smaller bandit as he swung his blade to cut Inari half. No. Screamed Tsunami and closed her eyes. Clang. Tsunami opened her eyes and she saw the bandit's blade stopped right in front of Inari's face. The bandit looked to who interfered him and he saw a girl around the boy's age with a long red hair and crimson eyes, blocked his blade with her long katana that she held with one hand. Inari just froze when he saw Taka, the girl that he mocked last night, saved his life. I changed my mind you are so brave said Taka. Inari just blushed when he heard Taka's compliment, it is first time a girl gave him a compliment. Inari-san, Tsunami-san, please close your eyes for a while, smiled Taka. Both of them followed Taka's advice and they heard the bandit screamed in agony. You can open your eyes now said Taka again. Inari and Tsunami opened their eyes again and they saw both of the bandits laid in the ground lifeless. Taka swung her long katana to remove the bandit's blood for her katana. Mizunaru-san. Spoke Tsunami, she shocked when she saw the bandits who want to captive her just killed with a girl around her son age easily and Taka's expression still same like usual after she killed that people. Are you okay? Where are the others? Asked Taka. Why yes, I'm fine. Kurenai-san and the others went to the bridge right after they received a message from Kakashi replied Tsunami. Okay I'll go to the bridge now said Taka with her usual monotone voice as she left Tsunami and went to the bridge. Mom, that girl is scary said Inari. That's why Gato feared her like your grandpa said replied Tsunami. Thank you for saving our life, Mizunaru-san, and for help my son to find his courage. Please protect my father from Gato, I believe you are the only one who can bring peace to Nami, no Kuni thought Tsunami while she saw Taka disappear to the bridge's direction. At the bridge. Kakashi and Kurenai encountered Zabuza and they were in the middle of their fight. Shino, Idate, Sasuke and Kiba were fighting the hunter Nin, Haku, while Sakura and Hinata guarded Tazuna, but I could said that Sakura just cheered for Sasuke and not guarding Tazuna. Kakashi and Kurenai started to push Zabuza, and the male genin began to give Haku a hard time because of the handicap. Not long after that, Zabuza and Haku were defeated by the Konoha Nin and surrendered themselves to the Konoha Nin. However, they had to use all of their strength to win from Zabuza and Haku. Ahahaha, is the Mist Demon's strength just like this? You're just garbage, Zabuza. All of them heard someone mock Zabuza, and they saw a mid-aged fat man with black tuxedo stood in the entrance of the bridge. You glared, Zabuza. Don't call Zabuza-sama like that, bastard. Haku shouted back, she wanted to hit the man, but her injuries interrupted her to do that. Oh, pretty girl, what a cute one, a dog barked for his master. But, you will not be a dog again, because all of you will die here with this bridge, chuckled Gato with sadistic smile in his face. He gave a hand signal, and an army of bandits around 100 men showed themselves behind him. What, muttered Tazuna when he saw the number of bandits. This is bad. All of us already tired from the previous battle, said Kurenai. I agree, but we have to protect the bridge. Team, prepare for a big battle. Shouted Kakashi while he took his kunai. Sakura, Hinata, you guard Tazuna with your life. Idate, you watch Zabuza and Haku, we cannot let them die here. And the rest assist us. Commanded Kurenai. Hi. Replied the genins. Hey, wait. Why just me who had to guard that missing Nin? Complained Idate. Because you are a dope, spoke Sasuke. And a dead last, cut Kiba. Shino just gave a light sigh. Team. I'm not weak like that. Shouted Idate. Yeah, they still can fight in battle like this, thought Kakashi. Idate. Stay focused. Save your complaint for later. I trust Zabuza and Haku to you because I know you have an ability to protect them, said Kurenai. Hi, Kurenai-sensei, replied Idate. He blushed a bit and took a fighting stance. Here they come. Said Kakashi. All of them defended themselves from Gato's minion mass attack, but they could not stand for long time because of their fatigue, and also they were defeated in number. At the end, all of them forced to the end of the unfinished bridge. Hahaha, this is the end. Hahaha. Laughed Gato when he saw all of the shinobi cornered. Boys, if one of you can cut the trash and the builder's head, I will give you extra money. Shouted Gato. All of the bandits cheered and began to charge. Zabuza tried to protect himself, but unfortunately he was out of chakra and his right arm injured when he tried to protect Haku from the bandits, so he could not use any jutsu now. One of the bandit approached Tazuna and ready to cut his head, but Zabuza pushed the old builder, so he only had a cut in his shoulder, and Zabuza blocked the blade with his giant sword. As a result, the giant sword broken and his left arm's tendon cut by the bandit. Zabuza-sama. Shouted Haku when he saw the other bandit swung his blade to Zabuza's neck. Idate, who had trusted from kept Zabuza and Haku out from danger by Kurenai, quickly responded after heard Haku's voice. Damn. Shouted Idate. Idate used all of his strength to approach Zabuza and tried to protect him from that attack, but he could not do anything else except used his own body as a shield. With all of his speed, he appeared in front of Zabuza and ready to take the attack. Idate-san. Shouted Hinata with tears in her lavender eyes, and in this story, Hinata like Idate, but he is too dense to notice her feeling like Naruto in the real stories. Idate closed his eyes and waited for the attack, but it was not come. He slowly opened his eye and saw the bandit's blade laid in front of him. What shocked Idate, and he saw Taka stood in front of him. Taka examined all of the shinobi condition, and she saw Tazuna had an injury in his shoulder. Are you okay, Tazuna-san? Said Taka with low voice. Yeah, don't worry about me, Taka-chan. This is just a scratch, smiled Tazuna. Sorry for my lateness, said Taka again, and she gave the bandit a cold glare. Who are you? Said Gato. He saw a little girl with a long katana interrupted his fun. I'm sorry, but you will pay for this with your blood, said Taka with low tone. Her eyes pupil became a slit and the 9 tails tattoo glowed brightly in her forehead. Her killing intent leaked from her body and filled the air. Not only the bandit and Gato were frozen with fear, all of the genin were also frozen when they felt Taka's killing intent. What's wrong with your eyes? Asked Idate. He saw Taka's eyes changed into slit eyes, like a cat. Taka didn't answer him as usual. Zabuza, don't let me borrow your technique, said Taka suddenly to Zabuza. What are you doing? Asked Zabuza. Inpu. Kirigakure no jutsu, hiding mist technique, said Taka as she made a hand seal, and a thick mist covered all of them. What, since when did she copy my jutsu? Asked Zabuza. That is her talent. She can copy a jutsu perfectly with just seeing it once. Zabuza heard Kakashi's voice in the mist. But this mist is thicker than the usual Kirigakure no jutsu that I have seen, said Zabuza. You're right, teams, don't move from your current position. We don't know what Taka will do in this mist. Kurenai's command echoed inside the mist. Hi. The genin answered. What would happen here? This mist too thick, I can't see them, one of the bandit voices heard inside the mist. Beware. I can't feel my arm. What happened here? Shouted the other bandits. The other bandit's voice started echoed inside the mist in pain, and all of the bandits who heard that scream became more panic. After several minutes, the bridge became silent. What happened? Boys. Someone answers me. Shouted Gato with fear tone. The mist slowly became thin and revealed all of the bandits laid in the bridge floor. Taka's figure appeared in the middle of the bridge, her body covered with the bandits' blood. DT, the red-haired hunter. You are the red-haired hunter, shocked Gato when he saw Taka's red hair and her crimson-slit eyes. His body shook with fear and he knelt and begged to Taka. D, please spares me. I will give you all of my money, I will give you anything I have, so please spare me, begged Gato when he saw Taka walk to him. I don't need your money, go, answered Taka while she closed her eyes and her eyes back to normal crimson eyes. She turned her back and began to leave Gato. Gato smirked when he saw Taka spared him and he drew his hidden knife from his cane. He stabbed Taka from behind with his knife. Taka was shocked from the sudden attack, but she quickly swung her katana and cut Gato's head. Poison, thought Taka. She felt that her vision became blur and her body numb, but she did her best to stay conscious while she tried to cover her injury. The mist cleared away and all of the shinobi could saw what Taka did inside the mist. The genins were shocked when they saw what happened to the bandits. Sakura threw up when she saw the bandit blood and Sasuke just stood frozen, speechless. Use a mist to give an advantage in this handicap. Just I expected from the red-haired hunter, only she can think a tactic like this, compliments Abusa while Haku busy to heal his injury. She massacres the entire bandit, she is like him, like Itachi, a voice echoed inside Sasuke's head. In Sasuke's vision, Taka's figure became blurring and Itachi replaced hers. Foolish little brother, Itachi's voice echoed inside Sasuke's head. Kill her, she is like Itachi. Yes, I have to kill her. Sasuke ran to Taka with a kunai in his hand. Taka saw that Sasuke tried to kill her, but she could not move her body because of the poison. Stop that, Sasuke. Shouted Kakashi, but it was too late, Sasuke's kunai stabbed Taka. Luckily, the kunai just pierced left lung, not pierced her heart. Taka just fell on the bridge floor unconscious with blood came out from her mouth. What are you doing? Shouted Kurenai. She and Kakashi bound Sasuke's move while Hinata tried to treat Taka's wound. Sasuke, why did you do this? Asked Kakashi calmly. He was disappointed to Sasuke's action, but he tried to keep his calm. She looks like Itachi, I have to kill her, murmured Sasuke. He was like a broken doll. Look with your eyes, Sasuke team. She is not Itachi. She did this to protect us, she saved me, but you just stab her. You just nearly killed our savior. You are freaking crazy. Shouted Idate in anger. He lifted Sasuke's shirt and punched his face. He didn't like what Sasuke did to his savior. Idate, calm down. She said Kakashi. Don't shout like that to my Sasuke-kun. It is her fault for being a murder. Yeah, she is a murder, she deserved this. Sakura interrupted Kakashi with her shout. Sakura Kakashi wanted to talk to her, but Haku left Zabuza and walked to Sakura and she slapped Sakura. Oi, I haven't finished my word, thought Kakashi. Can you be silent for a while? If I may say, you are the one who the most useless one here. You left Izuna's side when the battle started. You just abandoned your mission. Said Haku coldly. I just want to fight with my Sasuke-kun, said Sakura weakly. Your Sasuke-kun? You always said that. Let me ask you, what more important, your mission or your Sasuke-kun? Asked Haku. Of course, my Sasuke-kun. Replied Sakura with love mark in her eyes. She gave a wrong answer, so she received another slap from Haku. Your eyes were blinded with fake love, Konoha fangirl. You disgraced the name of Kunoichi. Idate-san is far better than you. You are the worst Kunoichi that I ever seen. Said Haku coldly, and she left Sakura and continued treat Zabuza's wound, while Idate just blushed when he heard Haku's compliment about him. That must be hurt, poor girl, thought Kiba, Zabuza and Kakashi at same time. Hey Kurenai-sensei, looks like Taka has a wound in her back and she also had a poison in her blood system, interrupted Hinata. That makes sense why she wasn't able to evade Sasuke's attack, can we do something with that poison? Asked Kakashi. We can't do anything else, we didn't have a proper medic nin in our team, therefore the poison spread quickly, we only can make that poison spread more slowly. However, if we don't do anything, she can only lie for 1 week until the poison infected her heart. Only Tsunade-sama can cure her, spoke Kurenai. Please help her. She is like my late adopted daughter. I don't want to see her die like my late adopted daughter, begged Izuna. I know where she is. Let me take her to Tsunade-hime, someone spoke. All of the shinobi saw a man with white long hair and red mark in his face approach them. Jiraiya-sama. Why you here? Asked Kakashi. I just want to pick my beloved apprentice, but looks like she has a hard time. Let me take her to Tsunade, said Jiraiya, while he picked Taka and summoned Gamabunta. Jiraiya, why did you summon me here? Asked the Toad Boss. I need you help to go to Tsunade's place at Tenzakugai as soon as possible. I need her to help this little girl, spoke Jiraiya. Taka-sama. What happened to her? Asked Gamabunta again when he saw Jiraiya carried Taka. She was poisoned by a foolish man. She can die if we don't take her to Tsunade, only Tsunade who can cure her, explained Jiraiya. Jump to my back. I will use my full speed, said the Toad Boss, and Jiraiya jumped to his back while he carried Taka. Wait, Jiraiya-sama, Zabuza suddenly spoke. Do you need anything else? Asked Jiraiya. I have been defeated by her once as a swordsman. Please give my blade to her when she recovered and give my sorry to her for giving her a broken blade, said Zabuza, while he threw his broken Kubikiri Haucho, an Kubikiri Haucho equals neck cutter sword, to Jiraiya. I will. Oh, Tazuna-san, if she recovers from this, I will make sure she will visit you first. Don't worry, she is a strong girl, smiled Jiraiya, while Gamabunta jumped and left the bridge. Sensei, all of the bandits were still alive, they didn't have a fatal injury, only Gato was killed in this battle, reported Hinata, while she used her Byakugan to examine the area. She can immobilize the entire bandits without took their life, one of them inside thick mist like that. She is truly a talented swordmaster, said Zabuza. He was truly amazed with Taka's sword skill. See. She isn't a murder, you freak banshee. Shouted Ide to Sakura. Sakura, Sasuke, both of you will have to write a report for this to Hokage personally. And you two have take any consequences for this trouble, said Kakashi. Sasuke just kept silent, but he looked like that he didn't have any regret for his mistake. But complained Sakura. No, but, Sakura. You must have more responsibility and mission. Maybe you and Sasuke will be banned from C or higher rank mission for a while. Truly, I am really disappointed both of you, said Kakashi with serious face. For you, Ide, you are too reckless, but you did a good job. You used all of your strength to protect them. Just don't act reckless like that again, smiled Kakashi while he ruffed Ide's hair. Kakashi-sensei, if Sakura and Sasuke banned from C rank or higher mission, it means I also banned from those rank mission. Asked Ide. Maybe, replied Kakashi. Ide looks disappointed when he heard Kakashi's answer. Sorry, I am joking. We only can leave those decisions to Hokage-sama. Ma, let's back to Tazuna's house, we have to treat our wound and rest. Zabuza and Haku, right. You two must come with us, so we can treat your wound as well, smiled Kakashi. They all know about the bandit? Asked Hinata. Don't worry. The villager will take care of them, said Tazuna as he saw Inari with the villager came to the bridge. All of them nodded and left the bridge to Tazuna's house while the villager tied all of the bandits. On Gamabunta's back. Taka just gained her consciousness and she found herself carried by Jiraiya with piggyback style. She also found that they traveled in high speed on the Toad Boss's back. Jiraiya noticed that Taka had gained her consciousness. Oh, you are awake, Taka-chan, smiled Jiraiya. Jiraiya, don't know, where are we? Spoke Taka weakly. We are going to meet your godmother, Tsunade. And cure you from that poison, replied Jiraiya. I'm sorry, this is my fault if I didn't let my guard down, I said Taka again, but she stopped her word because she coughed and blood came out from her mouth again. Shhh, don't speak anymore. Just rest, okay? We will arrive tomorrow evening with our current speed, interrupted Jiraiya with soft tone. Jiraiya, don't know, thank you, please don't let anyone hold my katana, something bad will happen if anyone except me holds this katana, replied Taka, and she fainted again. Jiraiya felt that Taka's body became hotter than usual. Damn, she has a fever. Boss, can we faster? Asked Jiraiya. Okay, but just don't let her fall. If you let her fall, you will have a punishment from Shinigami-sama, replied the Toad Boss while he pumped his chakra to his feet so he jumped more far. In addition, Jiraiya hardly stabled himself in the Toad Boss back. Man, I started to feel sick, thought Jiraiya as his face became pale. Next evening, at Tenzakugai. The pale blonde-haired woman just exited from a gambling center, followed by a black-haired woman with a pig in her arm. The pale blonde woman looked like she had a bad mood. She used a sour mimic in her face and pouted a lot, she also kicked all of the garbage can that she found in her way. Damn, I nearly won it today, pouted the pale blonde woman. Tsunade-sama, you nearly spent all of our money today, said the black-haired woman. Oh Shizune, you don't have to worry, tomorrow I will win this lottery and we can have a good meal and hotel, replied Tsunade while she took out a small paper from her pocket. I doubt that I cannot hope a lot from you, Tsunade-sama, thought Shizune in her mind. Suddenly she noticed a giant toad fell from the sky and most likely would fell on their head. Tsunade-sama, watch out. Shouted Shizune while she grabbed Tsunade to save her. The Toad Boss just fell a few inches from them and puffed away, left a big smoke covered all of them. Tsunade and Shizune could saw pale-faced Jiraiya with a long red-haired girl in his back. Unfortunately for Tsunade, her lottery ticket was crushed by Gamabunta, which made her very angry. "Jiraiya. You have to explain this," shouted Tsunade. Jiraiya just walked to Shizune. "As Shizune, please carry her for a while," said Jiraiya while he handed over Taka to Shizune. After did that, he quickly ran to a tree near them and threw all on his stomach out. "I will never let him do that again," murmured Jiraiya. "Jiraiya. You have to explain this now," shouted Tsunade again. "Calm yourself, Tsunade Haim." Before he finished his word, Tsunade punched him in his face hard. "Tsunade-sama," shouted Shizune. Tsunade turned her back and saw the little girl who Jiraiya handed over coughed blood from her mouth. Tsunade looked the blood with pale face, but she could overcome her fear. "She looks like Kushina-chan from her hair to her face, except the 3-line scar in both sides of her cheek, but it cannot be, she had died 13 years ago, and this girl is only 8 years old," thought Tsunade. "Examine her," commanded Tsunade. "Hi." Shizune placed her hand on the top of Taka's chest, and her palm glowed with a green light. "She was poisoned. Please take her poison out," said Jiraiya. "Jiraiya-sama is right, this girl has poison in her blood system. She will die if we don't extract her poison out, she also has a fever," reported Shizune. "Why do I have to cure her? I don't know her," pouted Tsunade, she looked still mad for her lottery ticket. "You maybe don't know her, but you know her mother and father," said Jiraiya. Still don't want to cure her," replied Tsunade, she's still stubborn. "Tsunade-sama, don't act like a child," said Shizune. "Shut up, Shizune. He and this little girl crushed our meal ticket," shouted Tsunade with tears fell from her eyes. "Tsunade-sama," replied Shizune with sweat dropped in her head. "Those ticket won't guarantee our fate since Tsunade-sama always lose gambling," thought Shizune. "You still don't want to cure her?" said Jiraiya. "Absolutely," pouted Tsunade. "Even if you know she is Kushina and Minato's daughter?" said Jiraiya again. "Yeah, I still want," shouted Tsunade. She looked shocked when she heard Kushina and Minato's name. "You have to explain this later. Shizune, go to our cottage and prepare the medical treatment. We will extract her poison out." "Jiraiya, you carry her to my cottage," commanded Tsunade. Jiraiya looked relieved when he heard Tsunade changed her mind. "Hi," replied Shizune while she rushed back to their cottage to prepare the medical treatment. In Tsunade's cottage. Jiraiya and Tsunade arrived in a wooden cottage not far from their meeting point. They found that Shizune still busy preparing the medical treatment in Tsunade's room inside the cottage. "Lay her here," said Tsunade as she pointed to a small bed in the middle of her room. Jiraiya just followed what Tsunade said to him. "Now you just wait in the balcony," said Tsunade. Wait, I will wait here until you finish extracts her poison out," complained Jiraiya. "No. We have to take off her clothes to begin the treatment." "Oh. You just want to see her body, right, you pervert hermit," replied Tsunade. "No, I'm not interested in little girl body. Beside her breasts had not grown yet," Jiraiya complained again. "You old pervert. She is your goddaughter, but you still peep her. You are the worst," said Tsunade again. "I'm not peeping her, it was just an accident. I never wanted to peep a little girl," replied Jiraiya. I have finished the preparation," Tsunade-sama said Shizune, she tried to interrupt them. Unfortunately, Tsunade and Jiraiya didn't hurt her, they were too busy to notice Shizune. "Tsunade-sama. I have finished the preparation," shouted Shizune, and finally Jiraiya and Tsunade noticed her. Thank you, Shizune. Jiraiya, I will let you stay here, but if you interrupt the treatment, I will make sure that you will see a hellgate at once." Tsunade accepted Jiraiya's request. She took off Taka's clothes and used her medical skill to take out Taka's poison. "Akimeki no Jutsu, poison extraction technique," shouted Tsunade and she extracted Taka's poison out. After several minutes, Tsunade had extracted out all poison from Taka's body and Taka's condition became stable. After that, she began to examine Taka's wound. She realized that Taka's wound in her left chest already closed and her left lung had fixed without left any scar, but the huge scar in her back and in her cheek still left. "Jiraiya, she is stable now, her fever was gone as well, but I never saw a human that has an incredible recovery like this. I want you to tell me all that you know about her," said Tsunade after she finished examining Taka. Jiraiya told her about how he met Taka in first time and also told her about Taka's secret. So she was a result of the powered-up seal that Minato and Shinigami created. If she is the Kyubbi, that explain why she has an incredible recovery rate like this, said Tsunade. "No, you can see her as Kyubbi. Her memory as Kyubbi was erased as well. If you see her as Kyubbi, she will be depressed, she already closed herself to the other. Maybe she did that to make the other see her as a human, not as a monster. Well, she just an 8 years old girl who never feel a parent love after all," said Jiraiya. "I never see her as Kyubbi. She is Kushina's daughter, not the Kyubbi," replied Tsunade. "Ah no, may I give my opinion?" asked Shizune. "Of course, Shizune." You are free to give your opinion to us, smiled Tsunade. How about you two adopt her as your granddaughter? Said Shizune. But a great idea. I never think about that. With this she will be happy as well, said Jiraiya. I agree with you. For now, let her rest, maybe tomorrow she will be awake, said Tsunade. Next morning. Tauka slowly opened her eyes and she found herself in a wooden room. She examined the room and she found Jiraiya and a pale blonde-haired woman slept in sofa. She tried to sit but her wound stopped her from doing that. Ah, you have awake. Here, drink this slowly. Your throat must be dry, said Shizune when she entered the room with a glass of water in her hand. Tauka drank the water that Shizune gave slowly. Who are you? Asked Tauka while Shizune helped Tauka to sit. Ah, sorry. My name is Shizune, I am Tsunade-sama's apprentice. Are you still hurt? Replied Shizune. A little but it's nothing, replied Tauka. Tsunade and Jiraiya waked from their sleep. Ah, Tauka-chan, you have awake. How do you feel? Said both of them in unison. I'm fine, thank you for your hospitality, replied Tauka. She gave both of them a small bow. She has good manner. Just I expected from Kushina's daughter. I am Tsunade, the slug Sannin and your godmother, said Tsunade. Tauka, just give her a bow again. Nah, Tauka-chan, I think it is too sudden for you, but Tsunade and I plan to adopt you as our granddaughter, if you agree, smiled Jiraiya. Tauka became speechless when she heard that. You two still want to adopt me even you know that I am the monster who attacked Konoha 13 years ago, said Tauka in low voice, while she lowered her head and made her front hair covered her eyes. However, Tsunade suddenly hugged Tauka. Tauka was shocked a bit when Tsunade hugged her. SHHH, you are not Kyubbi, you are you, and now you are my granddaughter, said Tsunade softly. Thank you very much, Tauka cried in Tsunade's hug. Well, we are family now. Before that, we have to introduce ourselves. My name Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin and the legendary author from the incredible book of Icha Icha Paradise. Introduced Jiraiya with his usual kabuki style. You still overact like that, Jiraiya. My name is Senju Tsunade, the slug Sannin and ex-head of medical department in Konoha. I am also the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Tsunade introduced herself. And also known as the legendary sucker, said Jiraiya. Suddenly Jiraiya had been knocked out by Tsunade's monster strength. Shizune and Tauka just sweat dropped when they saw that. My name is Shizune, Tsunade-sama first apprentice, and I will be your older sister, Tauka-chan, smiled Shizune. My full name is Namikaze Mizunaru Tauka. I am Namikaze Kushina and Namikaze Minato's daughter and the current head clan of Mizunaru, introduced Tauka as she gave them a formal bow. Mizunaru? Asked Tsunade. Hi, since I trained by Shinigami-sama, I gained this title and him as the proof of the head clan, replied Tauka as she pointed to a long red-held katana near her bed. Ah, I want to ask you about your scar in your back and in your cheek. Last night I saw your entire wound cured by itself, but the scar in your back and cheek were still left, said Tsunade. I'm sorry to worry you, Aba-sama, my scar in my face is the proof that I am Kyubbi, and my scar in my back I received when I fought Shinigami-sama to become the clan head. Both of them cannot be cured, said Tauka. Tsunade just smiled when she heard Tauka, she was not expecting she would be called that. Like a classic battle from teacher and student. It means you have killed Shinigami to become the clan head, said Jiraiya. Basically yes, but Shinigami-sama cannot die and I didn't want Shinigami-sama died since he always took care of me, replied Tauka. You are truly genius from Namikaze like your father and have a soft heart like your mother, smiled Jiraiya. Thank you, Aji-sama, replied Tauka. Yuahahaha, good girl, I always wanted to call that. For your gift, I will make a special storage seal for you so you can store your katana. I learned that your katana has a unique seal, so only you can hold that katana. You will have no worries about someone else incidentally hold your katana, smiled Jiraiya while he petted Tauka's hair. Thank you again, Aji-sama, Tauka said with a small bow. Oh, a man called Zabuza want me to give you this blade. He said sorry for gave you a broken blade, said Jiraiya while he gave a broken giant blade. Tauka's eyes saddened when she saw the broken blade. This blade had served its master well, but its master only used this blade to kill people at the end. It broken like this, said Tauka as she closed her eyes. After she said that, her 9 tails tattoo glowed brightly and her red chakra warped the broken Kubikiri Haucho. The broken Kubikiri Haucho changed its form into a pair of ninjado, and ninjado equals ninja's short sword. The edge of broken Kubikiri Haucho changed into a light yellow hilt ninjado and the other half changed into light green hilt ninjado. From now, your name will be Orihime, the light yellow hilt ninjado, and Hikabashi, the light green hilt ninjado, smiled Tauka to both of ninjado. Both of ninjado gave back a brilliant light in their blade like accepted the name that Tauka gave. Jiraiya, Tsunade and Shizune just speechless when they saw what Tauka did. And Orihime and Hikabashi equals Vega and Altar, 2 star that separated by the Milky Way and only we can see together at 7 July. What was that? Asked Tsunade. Abba-sama, I just purified the broken blade soul, since it had killed too much people. This is the special ability of Mizuneru clan head, replied Taka. Why do the Mizuneru's clan head have a skill like that? Asked Jiraiya. Shinigami-sama said that at the ancient time, a blade only used for kill people, since the Mizuneru clan only used their sword skill to protect people, they didn't want to use a blade with corrupted soul, so they had to purify the blade soul first before they could use them, explained Taka. She looked exhausted after she purified the blade. You have to rest. I think purifying that sword used a lot of chakra, said Shizune while she helped Taka to lie down in her bed. I thank you, Wani-sama, said Taka as she slept. This girl had a lot of surprise, said Tsunade. Yeah, but when I saw her with Kakashi's team, she only talked when she need to. She nearly closed herself from them, said Jiraiya. Maybe that was some self-defense to the stranger. Well, when her body recovered, I think I will teach her all of my skills, said Tsunade while she petted Taka's hair softly. Me too, I want to see her as a strong kunoichi. Minato and Kushina will agree with us as well, smiled Jiraiya. 1 month later, in Nami no Kuni. 4 figures appeared at the bridge with the red-colored pillars at its entrance. They were Tsunade, Jiraiya, Shizune, and our little hero, Taka. Shizune, Tsunade and Jiraiya were still dressed the same as 1 month ago, but Taka had changed her outfit. She wore a navy blue color Anbu battle suit and a long-sleeved white coat with orange flames licking the bottom like the Yondaime HOKAGE, as well as a crimson headband tied around her forehead. She carried her long katana on her back and her new pair of ninjato at her waist. Taka noticed that there were words carved into one of the bridge's entrance pillars. It read, "Here stands the great Shinku, Crimson, Bridge, in honor of a hero who fought bravely on this bridge to give Nami no Kuni a freedom from tyranny. This bridge will stand forever," and became a memorial for the hero of Nami no Kuni. The great Shinku bridge, murmured Taka. Crimson, huh? Just like you, Taka-chan, teased Tsunade. A pink blush spread across Taka's cheeks. You are truly known as a hero in Nami no Kuni, Taka-chan, smiled Shizune. I didn't do anything big for this village, Wani-sama, Taka mumbled. But you freed them from Gato, remember? Said Jiraiya. Hi, Aji-sama, she replied. Looks like I still cannot change her usual nature, thought Jiraiya. They walked across the bridge and found a new restaurant right next to the bridge. How about we rest for a while and have lunch in that restaurant? Asked Jiraiya, pointing to the restaurant. That's a good idea, agreed Tsunade. When they arrived at the entrance of the restaurant, they saw. If you don't have money, you shouldn't eat here. Roared a man with bandages covering his mouth and wearing an apron that looked like he was the restaurant chef, coming out from the restaurant with a large wooden bat in his hand. Mama Zabuza-sama, you don't have to throw him like that, said a 14-years girl with pink kimono who came out after Zabuza. You're too soft, Haku. If we spare him, we cannot pay for the food stuff and we will go bankrupt. I have to teach him a lesson, so he will pay for his food, replied Zabuza as he cracked his knuckles. The man who had thrown by Zabuza just shook with fear when he saw Zabuza's menacing countenance. Zabuza, Haku was right. You just scared the other customers, chided Tsunami, coming out of the restaurant. But, Tsunami, protested Zabuza. Please forgive me. I don't have any money to pay the food. Please, my family really needs that food. I promise that when I have money, I will pay you immediately, pleaded the man. I will pay for this man's food. Just give him what he needs, interrupted Taka suddenly. All heads turned to the party of 4, in particular the young woman who had spoken up. Then Tsunami's eyes widened, mouth forming an O as she recognized who it was. Mizuneru-san. Where have you been? Are you okay? Last I heard, my father said that you were badly wounded in the bridge incident, fretted Tsunami, hugging Taka. I'm sorry to have you worry about me, Taka muttered. The man bowed to her. I thank you for your kindness, young lady, he murmured. DCH, you were lucky, muttered Zabuza. He went inside the restaurant and came out again with a large lunchbox, which he gave to the man. You're so kind, Taka-chan, whispered Shizune. Wani-sama, don't say like that, Taka whispered back, blushing. They entered the restaurant while Zabuza back to the kitchen. What would you like to eat? Asked Haku as she distributed the menu. I want a portion of dango and a bottle of sake, said Tsunade. A portion of sashimi and a cup of tea, said Shizune. 1 bowl of pork ramen and sake for me, said Jiraiya. 1 portion onigiri, rice balls, and a cup of tea please, said Taka. Hi, your order will come in 5 minutes, smiled Haku as she entered the kitchen. 5 minutes later, Zabuza and Haku came out from the kitchen with their food. So you quit as a missing nin and became a chef? Asked Jiraiya. Hi, Jiraiya-sama. I was tired of being a missing nin, and I owe a large debt to Tausen's family, replied Zabuza. Tausen? You have a father? Asked Jiraiya curiously. No. He means Tazuna Jaisen. Zabuza-sama and Tsunami-sama married 2 weeks after you left Nami, interrupted Haku. Haku, there's no need to be so respectful with us anymore. We have already adopted you as our daughter, so just call me Tu-san, smiled Zabuza. He's right, Haku-chan. You are our daughter now, chirped Tsunami as she brought 2 bottles of sake and 2 cups of tea. I'm sorry, Tu-san, Ka-san. It just feels strange to call you that, replied Haku miserably. I know that, Haku, but you have to adjust with it, replied Zabuza, petting Haku's head. Congratulations to you all. I never expected that a man like you, Zabuza, would be able to have a happy life like this, toasted Jiraiya, lifting his cup of sake. Not long after that, Inari entered the restaurant with a bucket of fish. Tu-san, Ka-san, Haku-ni, we caught a lot of fish today. Shouted Inari as he entered the restaurant. Looking for his parents and sister, he saw the 4 eating at the table. Aji-san, look who's here. Called Inari to Tazuna, who had just entered the restaurant. Oh, Taka-chan. I really worried about you. Cried Tazuna as he rushed to Taka and hugged her tightly. Taka stayed silent, Tazuna's hug was slowly squeezing all air out of her lungs. Tu-san, you are strangling Taka-chan, said Tsunami, speechless at the sight of Taka's blue face. I think you should let her go, she cannot breathe if you continue squeezing her like that, suggested Shizune, mildly horrified by the interesting shade of blue Taka's face was turning. Sorry. I really didn't expect your arrival, said Tazuna sheepishly as he released his teeth grip. I did promise you that when she recovered from her injuries, I would bring her to visit you first. Smiled Jiraiya as he poured his sake into a small cup. I forgot to introduce the others to you. This is Tsunade, who cured Taka, and her apprentice, Shizune. Thank you, Jiraiya-sama, Tsunade-sama, and to you, Taka-chan, for freeing Nami from Gato, said Tazuna. No problem, replied Taka. Zabuza noticed that Taka had a pair of beautiful ninjato tied to her waist. Izanari-san, those ninjato, ventured Zabuza. These are Orihime and Hikabashi, they born from your blade, said Taka, smiling. You remade my broken Kubikiri Haucho into those ninjato? Asked Zabuza. Basically, yes, replied Taka simply. So, what will you all do from now? Asked Tazuna. Well, we will visit Konoha to see the old HOKAGE. I'm sure he will be happy to see his lost student come back to Konoha, said Jiraiya, glancing sideways at Tsunade. Taka's eyes widened a bit when she heard Konoha. I heard that the next CHUNIN exam will be held in Konoha next week. It is said that the third part of the exam will be a tournament, which we plan to see, said Zabuza. Will you participate in that exam, Mizunari-chan? Asked Haku. I'm not a ninja, mumbled Taka while she continued ate her food. Sorry, I forgot, said Haku. Well, it's about time we continue our journey. We still have a long way to go, said Jiraiya, paying for their meal. Would you like to spend the night at our house? Offered Tazuna. Thank you, but we have to arrive in Konoha tomorrow morning. We will spend our night at an inn on our way to Konoha, replied Tsunade. When they were about to leave the restaurant, Tsunami stopped them with lunchboxes in her hand. You should bring them with you. It may not be much, but you may need this for your trip, said Tsunami, handing the meal boxes to Taka. Thank you for your kindness, replied Taka while gave about it Tsunami. She has changed a bit, murmured Tsunami after Taka and the other disappeared from their sight. You mean her clothes? Asked Zabuza. No, not that, Zabuza. I mean her attitude, she wasn't cold like the first time we met. She has softened a bit, said Tsunami. Well, people can change, Tsunami. I am the best example, said Zabuza as he kissed Tsunami's cheek. Ooh, Zabuza. Don't do that again, smiled Tsunami, blushing. They entered the restaurant and continued their work again. Nighttime, at the border of Fire and Wave Country. Taka and the others rested in the forest near the border of Fire and Wave Country. However, unlike the others, Taka could not sleep well in that night. She fretted about entering the village, feeling guilty for the sin she had committed against Konoha. She decided to walk a bit to relax. She didn't notice that Tsunade had been watching her since they left Wave. When she saw Taka slip out, she followed. After walked a bit, Taka found herself on the top of a large cliff. She could see Konoha from there. Her eyes saddened again when she saw Konoha. Am I worthy enough to enter Konoha? I'm Kyubbi, who nearly destroyed Konoha and took many Konoha shinobi's lives 13 years ago. If they know who I am, they will kick me out. Otu-sama. Aka-sama, Shinigami-sama, what should I do? Taka thought, lowering her head, tears spilling from her eyes. You worry too much, Taka-chan, said Tsunade behind her. Taka had a lot on her mind that night, so she had not been able to sense that Tsunade had followed her. Aba-sama, said Taka, rubbing her tears away. You don't have to worry about that. You are not Kyubbi anymore, and it had been 13 years since that war. I think the villagers don't remember about Kyubbi anymore. Moreover, you're just 8 years old, so no one will recognize you as Kyubbi, said Tsunade, petting Taka's back to comfort the girl. Thank you, Abasama mumbled Taka before she fell asleep on Tsunade's lap. Geez, she really made me worry too much, grumbled Jiraiya. He came out from the shadows. Shhh, she just fell asleep. We have to bring her back to our tent or she will catch a cold, chided Tsunade. Jiraiya carried Taka on his back with Tsunade following him back to their tent. Next morning, at the gates of Konoha. Taka and the others arrived at Konoha's entrance gate. There was a big wall with a very big gate which had Konoha's symbol carved onto it. They found a post near the gate which was guarded by 2 male Chunin. Excuse me, said one of the Chunin. I will need to check your identifications, as well as your reason for entering Konohagakure, village hidden in the leaves. I don't need an identification to enter Konoha, grumbled Jiraiya, a tick pulsing on his forehead. Sorry, sir, but protested the Chunin, before his companion interrupted. He is Jiraiya-sama, the author of the perfect literature of Icha Paradise. Cried the other Chunin. Taka, Tsunade and Shizune face faulted. I'm your fan, Jiraiya-sama. Please autograph this book for me, gushed the Chunin, holding out the latest edition of Icha. Pervert Chuninins, thought the females in unison. Ooh, I'm very grateful to have a fan like you, sighed Jiraiya happily as he signed the book for the Chunin. Jiraiya-sama, sorry for my rudeness just now. Please sign my book too, added the other Chunin. Jiraiya smiled and he signed the other book. Totally pervert Chuninins, thought the females in unison again. So can I enter the village now? Asked Jiraiya. Hi. Replied the Chunin, opening the gate. At first, Taka was afraid to enter Konoha, but Tsunade and Jiraiya smiled at her encouragingly, waiting for her to gather enough courage to enter. Taka found that Konoha was a very beautiful village which all of the villagers lived peacefully. She finally understood why her father could sacrifice himself to protect the village. Turning her head, she caught sight of a towering monument with 4 faces carved into it. How do you feel, coming back to our home village, Tsunade-hime? Asked Jiraiya. It has been a while since my last time in Konoha, there has been a lot of changes. Ah, Taka-chan, that is the 4th face, said Tsunade, pointing to the youngest looking face on the monument. Otu-sama, murmured Taka when she saw his face. She had never seen her father's face until now. They walked into the village. We should meet the Sandaime HOKAGE first, said Jiraiya, guiding them through the streets. They finally arrived at a red building in the village, with a leaf insignia carved into the top of the entrance, like at the gate. They entered the building and were greeted by a woman with dark brown hair and red marks on her cheeks. Jiraiya-sama, Tsunade-sama, long time no see, greeted the woman. It has been a while, Rin. Can we see the HOKAGE? Asked Jiraiya. Of course you can. He is in his office right now, doing his usual work. If I may ask, who are the others? Asked Rin when she noticed Taka and Shizune. Ah, this is Shizune, my apprentice, introduced Tsunade as she pointed to Shizune. And this is Taka, the adopted granddaughter of Jiraiya and myself, continued Tsunade. Nice to meet you, smiled Rin. Shizune smiled back while Taka just bowed. Rin guided them to a door and knocked. Enter, replied the Sandaime HOKAGE from inside the office. Excuse me, Sandaime-sama. You have guests, announced Rin as she opened the door. The group of 4 saw an old man sitting at a desk, dwarfed by the piles of paperwork he was doing. Ah, Rin, thank you, you may go back to your desk. Jiraiya, Tsunade, long time no see. I glad you came to visit me like this, greeted the Sandaime. The aged man left his desk and hugged Tsunade and Jiraiya like a father who had just met his long-lost son and daughter. Me, too, sensei, replied Jiraiya with a wide smile. And who are these young ladies? Inquired the Sandaime. This is Shizune, my apprentice, and the little one is our adopted granddaughter, Taka, replied Tsunade. Nice to meet you, ladies, greeted the Sandaime while Shizune and Taka bowed to him. All of them heard someone knock the door again. Yes? Asked the Sandaime. Sandaime-sama, you have a meeting with the Jounin in the meeting room, called Rin from outside the office. Thank you, Rin. I will be there in 5 minutes, replied the Sandaime. Well, I want both of you come with me in that meeting. I want to hear your opinion about our new genin. As for the 2 young ladies, could you wait in my office while I borrow Jiraiya and Tsunade? Asked the Sandaime. I don't mind, Sandaime-sama, replied Shizune while Taka just nodded her head. We won't be long there, said Tsunade as she petted Taka's head. The Sandaime left his office, followed by Tsunade and Jiraiya. In the meeting room. All Jounin, including Kakashi, were at the meeting. They discussed their genin teams when the Sandaime, Jiraiya, and Tsunade entered the room. All the Jounin bowed to the HOKAGE. Looks like all the Jounin already here. Let's begin the meeting, said the Sandaime sitting at his meeting desk. Jiraiya and Tsunade stood behind him. As you know, Konoha will hold the Chunin exam next week. I want to know which genin teams who will participate in this Chunin exam. The Jounin sensei responsible for the respective team will nominate their genin team for this exam, said the Sandaime. Some Jounin stepped forward and began to give their report. Hyuga Niji, Rock Lee, and Tenten, the genins who under my fire of the youth. I, Mido Guy, nominate them to participate in this Chunin exam, reported Guy as he gave a nice guy pose to the old Hokage. Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino, and Akamichi Chouji, the genins who under my wing. I, Saratobi Asuma, as their Jounin instructor, nominate them to participate in this Chunin exam, said Asuma. Hyuga Hinata, Inyazuka Kiba, and Aburam Shino. The genins who under my name, Yuhi Kurenai. I nominate them to participate in this Chunin exam, added Kurenai. Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, and Marino Ide who in my genin team. I, as their instructor, nominate them to participate in this Chunin exam, stated Kakashi. So, you nominated them, Kakashi thought Jiraiya. Okay, those teams will enter the Chunin exam next week. Rin, please give them the certificate, said the Sandame. Hi, Sandame-sama, replied Rin as she gave all of them the exam certificates. All of the Jounin placed their report on the Sandame's desk and left the office. Excuse me, sensei. I want my apprentice to participate this exam as well. I have a reason to make her participate, said Jiraiya suddenly. Do you mean Shizune? Asked the Sandame. No, she is Tsunade's apprentice. I mean the little one, Taka, replied Jiraiya. Are you sure, Jiraiya? She is too young, protested the Sandame. I know that, sensei, but we need her to investigate the Chunin exam, said Jiraiya, trying to placate the Hokage. Explain, commanded the Sandame. Hi, sensei. Like I said, my spy network found that something will happen at this Chunin exam. We have to investigate that. As such, Taka will be a spy for us to investigate the exam, so we can prepare for the worst, said Jiraiya. Jiraiya, I want you to tell me about her, insisted the Sandame. Her name is Mizuneru Taka, 8 years old. She is the current heir of the Mizuneru clan, a mysterious clan who disappeared 1,000 years ago. I met her in Nami, and I saw that she had potential to be a kunoichi, so I asked her to become my apprentice. Unfortunately, she was wounded in the Nami incident, so I brought her to Tsunade. After she recovered, we adopted her as our granddaughter, explained Jiraiya. Has she been trained as a ninja? Asked the Sandame. Not really, sensei. Her speciality is Kenjutsu, because her clan was a samurai clan. Tsunade and I have trained her in ninjutsu, jinjutsu, fuinjutsu and medjutsu, but she still has to train a bit more. For now, she only know 5 or 6 ninjutsu, basic fuinjutsu and medjutsu. Her weakness is jinjutsu. I think 1 week will is enough to train her because she is special, said Jiraiya. What do you mean? Asked the Sandame, curiosity piqued. Like Jiraiya said, she has a great potential with her. She can perform and memorize any jutsu flawlessly after having seen it once. When I taught her medjutsu, she picked it up in a matter of weeks. Moreover, she knows the secret of Kage Bunshin. I think 1 week is more than enough to make her at least a Jounin level kunoichi, so she won't have any problem in the exam, interrupted Tsunade. I see. I will think about it, but before that, I want to see her current abilities as a kunoichi first. Rin, please call Taka and Shizune in, said the Sandame. Hi, Sandame-sama, replied Rin. She immediately left the room. Not long after, she came back with Taka and Shizune. Taka-chan, Jiraiya wants you to enter the Chunin exam, but I want to see your current skill level first. Rin, please tell Hawk, Bear and Cat to meet me at training ground 1, said the Sandame. Taka nodded, and all of them teleported to the aforementioned training ground via Shunshin. At training ground 1. They appeared at training ground 1 in a puff of smoke. Not long after they arrived, the Sandame's private Anbu, Hawk, Bear and Cat, appeared in a whirl of leaves and gave a bow to the Sandame. Okay, we will begin the spar. The rule is simple, you both will freely use all that you know, as long as it is not fada, said the Sandame. Cat, I want you to be her sparring partner. Hi, Sandame-sama, replied Cat. Taka-chan, give your best. Cheered Shizune. Had and Taka walked to the center of the raining ground. Both slid smoothly into their fighting stances. Cat threw some kunai at Taka, who drew both ninjado and parried them. Cat then began to attack Taka using taijutsu. Taka sheathed her ninjado and slid into a taijutsu stance reminiscent of the Gyuukin style of the Hyuga clan. She dodged Cat's attack and gave her several palm thrusts, which hit the Anbu's left leg and disturbed her left leg chakra system. Cat was forced to jump back and she immediately made several hand seals. Here I come. Kaiten, Karyu Enden, fire release, fire dragon flame bullet. Shouted Cat as she shot a large dragon of fire at Taka. Pat, you are too much. Shouted Bear. Bear, please do not underestimate my granddaughter, said Tsunade, annoyed. Fuetin, Rasengan, wind release, spiraling sphere. Cried Taka as she made a spiraling Rasengan in her right hand, a ring of wind chakra circling it. Suitin, Hahanryu, water release, crashing rapids. Continued Taka, creating a spiral of water in her left hand. Ufuusuka no Jutsu, Water Typhoon Vortex Technique. Finished Taka as she combined both spheres and made a large water tornado that cancelled out Kat's attack. Not only can she manipulate chakra so skillfully for one of her age, she also has 2 chakra affinities. Gasped the Anbu captain, Hawk, in shock. Just as expected from my granddaughter, smiled Tsunade proudly. Did I hear Fuetin, Rasengan? Last time I heard, Rasengan was a non-elemental technique, mused the HOKAGE, confused. Yes, I taught the Rasengan to her, but she can manipulate chakra with it. I think she has created a few variations of Rasengan, replied Jiraiya. Truth be told, he had lied about teaching Taka the Rasengan because she could do it before she met Jiraiya, and in chapter 2. Sandaime and Hawk were shocked that the little girl could manipulate chakra with the Rasengan, as the Yondaime Hokage, who had created that jutsu, could not use chakra manipulation with it because it would become very unstable. Interesting Taka-chan, I heard from Jiraiya that you could use some variations of Rasengan. Would you show it to us? Asked the Sandaime as he stopped the spar. Taka nodded. She created a Rasengan in her right hand and held her hand up. Her 9 tails tattoo shined brightly behind her headband as she poured more chakra into her Rasengan. The wind blade appeared around her Rasengan, making it look like a Fuuma shuriken. Fuetin, Rasen shuriken, wind release, spiraling shuriken. Cried Taka as she threw the orb at a tree near her. The Rasen shuriken exploded as it hit the tree and shattered the tree into little pieces. Both of the Anbu's eyes widened when they saw the power of the variation of the Rasengan, the Yondaime Hokage's technique. What a powerful wide-range jutsu, murmured all the Anbu, shocked. She still can do one more variation. Taka-chan, show them the other one, but don't let it burn your hand, said Tsunade. Taka nodded and she made another Rasengan, but this time she placed her hand in front of her like she was aiming at something. Taka poured more chakra to her palm, and the Rasengan suddenly changed its shape into a fireball, with a blaze of fire circling it. Dayton, Rasen Kenden, fire release, spiraling flame bullet. She shot the fireball at a line of trees at an incredible speed. It penetrated the trees and left a big hole in those trees. The trees burned into ashes not long after the fireball penetrated them. Incredible, she is only 8 years old and yet has enough chakra to make such a powerful jutsu, thought the Sandaime, while Taka took a deep breath, looking a bit tired. Now powerful long-range jutsu, she is truly a genius. I can let her enter the exam as our spy to tell us the situation in the exam. Are you in agreement with me? Asked the Sandaime, and all of the Anbu nodded. Taka-chan, I knew that it's too early for this, but I want you to enter the Chunin exam as a genin and report to us anything strange in that exam. You can consider this as a mission. Here you can use this head protector, said the Sandaime, giving Taka a Konoha hit I-8 with a red fabric attached to the metal plate, like her headband. I accepted this as a mission, Hokage-sama, replied Taka as she kneeled to the Sandaime while receiving her hit I-8. All of you are dismissed now, said the Sandaime, and the Anbu shined away. Sensei, we want to tell you something privately, said Tsunade. Okay, let's back to my office, replied the Sandaime. They then teleported back to the Hokage's office. Back in the Hokage's office. When they arrived at the office, Jiraiya placed some seals around the room so that no one could hear them from the outside. He also placed some locking seals on the door. What do you want to talk to me about? Looks like it is very important since you have to seal my room like this, said the Sandaime, curious. Hi, Sensei. It is very private. Taka-chan, you can take off your hit I-8, said Tsunade. Taka took off her headband and her 9 tails tattoo was seen on her forehead. What is that? Asked the Sandaime. This is a seal that my father and Shinigami-sama placed on me. It is a chakra storage seal and a proof that I am Kyubbi, said Taka as she lowered her head. Sandaime jumped from his desk and took a fighting stance, eyes wide with horror. Taka, you used a wrong word. Sensei, please calm down, she is not Kyubbi anymore, said Jiraiya. The Hokage sighed and relaxed his stance, albeit reluctantly, though his eyes remained wary. You said your father and Shinigami-sama placed that seal on you. Does that mean? You are right, Sensei. Her full name is Namikaze Mizunaru Taka. She is Minato and Kushina's son who merged with the Kyubbi when Shinigami powered up the seal that Minato created to seal the Kyubbi. When the sealing ritual was finished, she was taken by Shinigami-sama to his realm to grow up and train, explained Tsunade. I finally meet you. I have been searching for you. I promised to your father to protect you after he finished sealed the Kyubbi, but you disappeared after the sealing. But why do you look like an 8-year-old girl? Asked the Sandaime, hugging Taka, who was shocked by the sudden embrace. This is the price of training in Shinigami-sama's realm. I aged more slowly than others, Hokage-sama, replied Taka. Don't call me with formal way like that. You can call me Jai-san or Aji-san like your father, he was like a son to me, said the old Hokage with a gentle smile. Sandaime Jai-sama tried Taka. That's still too formal, but it better than before, Taka-chan smiled the Sandame again as he petted Taka's hair. I never saw him like this after Minato died. You gave his smile back, Taka-chan thought Jiraiya. Oh, I forgot. Minato gave this box to me one day before the attack, he said I should give this to you after you become a genin. Here, you can open this by smearing your blood onto that blood seal, said the Sandame. Taka did as the Sandame said. She bit her finger and smeared her blood onto the seal. The box opened, there were 2 scrolls and a letter inside the box, one of the scrolls was yellow, and the other one was blue. The yellow one read Namikaze, the blue one Uzumaki. Taka opened the letter first. It read. 9 October. Congratulations for becoming a genin, my son. I knew you could do this, you must be a genius like me. I just want you to know that you are the son of Yondaime HOKAGE, and your mother is the most beautiful woman in whole elemental continent, Namikaze Kushina. Well, if you are reading this letter, then maybe we are no longer in this world. I know that sealing the Kyubbi inside you may take my life as well, and Kushina had some problems with her pregnancy, so she may not survive after giving birth. We hoped we could see you grow up and teach you all of our skill, but it is now impossible, so Kushina and I have left this scroll for you. The yellow one is my scroll. It contains all of my knowledge and the secret of Hiraishin no Jutsu. The blue one is Kushina's family scroll, and it contains all of her family's secret skill and knowledge. We hope that you will surpass us and become the greatest shinobi in Konoha. If you had a problem, just ask the Sandame HOKAGE, I am sure he will help you. I also made sure that my sensei, Jiraiya, will train you after you are old enough, but be careful to not let him corrupt you with his perverted book. This is the most we can do for you. We are so sorry to let you live alone like this. Maybe we are not good parents for you, but we want you know that we will always love you. Love you always. Namikaze Minato, Yondaime HOKAGE and your lovely mother, Namikaze Kushina. Otusama Akasama murmured Taka, her tears falling from her eyes, while she hugged both of the scrolls tightly to her chest. Tsunade embraced her, and Taka silently cried into her bosom, while Jiraiya petted Taka's back to comfort her. After several minutes, Taka fell asleep in Tsunade's warm embrace. She must be tired, said Shizune softly. Yes, after all she is still only an 8-year-old girl. Moreover, looks like the variations of Rasengan are still too much for her body to handle. Oh yeah, sensei, I just want to know, you have read the Kakashi's report about Mission and Nami, right? Queried Jiraiya. Yes, I have. Why? Asked the Sandame. You must be known that the Uchiha, consumed by his anger, stabbed Taka on that bridge and nearly pierced her heart, but why didn't you give him a punishment? Said Jiraiya seriously. What? So it was he who caused her wound to worsen. I will make him sorry for stabbing my lovely granddaughter. Hissed Tsunade while she clenched her fists. I think you cannot do that, Tsunade. The council gives him special treatment because he is the last loyal Uchiha. I cannot do anything else, replied the Sandame. So that makes sense, we cannot let the council know the truth about Taka, if they know the truth they will make her like a caged bird, said Jiraiya. Tsunade and Shizune nodded their heads. Don't worry about that, if I register her as you and Tsunade's apprentice, the council cannot do anything because both of you are free from Konoha's law. Besides, no one else knows about her except the Anbu, and they are the most trustworthy Anbu that I have. I have instructed them to help Taka to hide her true identity. So, where you will stay. If you want, you all can stay in my mansion, offered the Sandame. Thank you very much, sensei. However, I think we will stay at the forest on the top of the Hokage monument until the Chunin exam. She might be feeling uneasy if she has to stay in the village. You knew that she has a little problem with her self-confidence, she always blamed herself about Kyubbi accident 13 years ago, said Tsunade. Ah, at your old hiding spot I see, just let me know what you need so I can prepare it at once, said the Sandame. Thank you, sensei, said Jiraiya as he gave the old Hokage a box. The Sandame just giggled when he received that box. What was in that box? Asked Tsunade when they were on their way to the forest on the top of Hokage monument. Just a little gift that I promised to sensei the last time I was here, replied Jiraiya. Don't tell me he has corrupted that old Hokage with his pervert book, thought Tsunade and Shizune in unison. They finally arrived at a wooden house deep within the forest. There was a beautiful waterfall behind the wooden house. It had been 15 years since I left this house, said Tsunade. Yeah, let us rest for today, we will need all-out energy tomorrow for her training. I will place some seals around this place so no one can find this house, said Jiraiya. Time skip a week later. At the top of Hokage Mountain. Auka stood on the top of the Yondame's head. The wind blew her long crimson hair, making it wave gracefully. She wore her usual navy blue Anbu-like combat outfit, her hair tied in a high ponytail. She gazed at the village with a sad face. You blame yourself again, huh? Asked Jiraiya, who was standing behind her. Aji-sama, mumbled Taka. That isn't good for your health, Taka-chan, complained Shizune, appearing behind Jiraiya with Tsunade. Taka did not reply. Taka-chan, I bet Kushina and Minato will sad if they see you like this. You have to forgive yourself. I think Kushina and Minato will agree with me, said Tsunade, trying to comfort the despondent girl. But, is it okay if a monster like me stays in Konoha? If the villagers know who I am? Taka trailed off, lowering her head. SHHHH, I will say it once again, you are not a monster. You can just protect this village like your parents. You don't have to reveal yourself if you don't want to let them know. That is better, isn't it? Suggested Tsunade, poking Taka's forehead playfully. Taka, it's already time. Are you ready? Interrupted Jiraiya. Hi, Aji-sama, replied Taka, putting on her Konoha forehead protector to cover her nine tails tattoo. Taka and Jiraiya then shunshined to the ninja academy. Good luck, my beloved granddaughter, thought Tsunade as the two disappeared from the HOKAGE monument. At the academy. Taka and Jiraiya appeared at the academy's entrance. They saw many genin chatting in front of the academy. Taka-chan, remember to never underestimate your opponent and don't trust anyone in the exam except Kakashi's and Kurenai team because they may backstab you. Oh, and I think you should hide your katana and ninjato as you don't want to reveal yourself, right? Said Jiraiya. Hi, Aji-sama, replied Taka, proceeding to seal her weapons inside a scroll. She also lifted her hood to hide her face before entering the academy. When she entered the academy gate, one of the Sandame's Anbu cat appeared beside her. Taka-san, I have a scroll from Sandame-sama. He wishes you a good luck for your mission, said Cat. Thank you, replied Taka, taking the scroll from Cat, who then shunshined away. She searched for a quiet place and opened the scroll. Taka-chan, I bet Jiraiya forgot to told you about the exam place. The exam is in room 301, on the third floor of the academy. There are many genin from other country who are participating this year and we still don't know which country is plotting the invasion of Konoha. You should be careful and quickly inform me or the proctors if you find something wrong in the exam. In addition, please don't act by yourself, I don't want to put you in any dangerous conditions. Good luck, Taka-chan, and may the will of fire always guide your path. Sandame HOKAGE. Arigato Sandame Jai-sama, thought Taka, pocketing the scroll and entering the academy lobby. When she entered the lobby, she saw that Sasuke and a boy with bowl-cut hair and a green spandex suit were fighting in the middle of the lobby. She also saw that Sakura was shouting to cheer Sasuke on with the hearts in her eyes. Taka ignored them. She left the lobby and headed to the second floor. On the second floor, she saw that many genin were gathered and shouting in front of a classroom, which was guarded by two chunin disguised as genin using a simple genjutsu. Why can't we enter the classroom? Shouted one of the genin. Sorry, brat, but the exam only for the strongest team. You're all weak. If you want to enter you have to pass me, said one of the chunin, releasing some killing intent and scaring some of the genin. Taka noticed that she was still on the second floor and the exam was on the third floor. She saw that a chunin with a scar in his face was observing the genin from a classroom near them. Excuse me, where is the stair to the next floor? Taka asked the chunin. Huh? It is in the end of this corridor. Are you lost? Replied the chunin. No, I need to go to room 301, answered Taka. Oh, the chunin exam location. Wait. You are already a genin. But I have never seen you in this academy, said the chunin confusedly after noticing Taka's headband and her age. Yes, I am from the village near Konoha and I just joined Konoha last week. Thank you for your assistance, explained Taka. She bowed to the chunin and left. Who is she, Iruka-sensei? Asked an 8-year-old boy with a long scarf around his neck and a pair of goggles on his head. He appeared from the class behind the chunin, Iruka, with his friends, Mogi and Yuden. Oh, Konohamaru. She is one of genin who participate the chunin exam, replied Iruka. She is at same age as me and a cute one too, but she is already taking a chunin exam. She must be strong, I must tell Idate Oyabun about her, said Konohamaru, amazed. He began to walk out of class. No, you have a class until noon. Yelled Iruka, grabbing Konohamaru's scarf and dragging him back into the classroom. In room 301. Taka arrived at the classroom and she saw all of the genin stared at her when she entered the classroom. Taka ignored them and sat at the empty desk near window. A gray-haired boy with glasses noticed her and greeted her. Excuse me, my name is Yakushi Kabuto. This class is only for genin who participate the chunin exam. Are you lost? Asked Kabuto. He isn't an ordinary genin and he smells like snake, thought Taka. No, replied Taka. Can I ask your name? Asked Kabuto again. However, this time Taka completely ignored him. There was a genin team from Suna. One of them looked uneasy when he saw Taka. What wrong, Gaara? Asked a female one with a big fan in her back. Tamari, that girl is dangerous, mother got scared when she saw her, replied Gaara. Eh? You are scared of a little girl, Gaara, teased the other one with a painting in his face. Shut up, Kankuro. Gaara has never been like this before. That girl may be strong like Gaara said, scolded Temari. Not long after that, the Konoha genin entered the room. Whoa, this is really a Chunin exam. All of you must prepare for encounter the strongest genin in Konoha. Shouted Kiba and Idate in unison. Sakura punched both of them, causing them to fly into the wall. Sakura-san, why you are too much, stuttered Hinata, who entered the classroom after Sakura. Hinata, you are too soft. They are too loud. Or you want to be like them. Shouted Sakura with an annoyed face. Gee, Gamenasai, mumbled Hinata while she bowed to Sakura continuously. Geez, you're still as loud as the last time we met, big forehead. It can't be helped, but I will beat you and take Sasuke-kun with me, said a girl with her pale blonde hair tied in a high ponytail. Behind her were a lazy-looking boy and a sorry big-boned boy who ate a big bag of potato chips. Oh, you are here too, but the one who will win this time is me. Remember that, Ino pig. Yelled Sakura. They both began to fight. Troublesome fangirl, muttered the lazy boy. You're right, Shikamaru. They are always like this when they meet. Achouji, I have a spare lunch, do you want some? Said Idate. He gave a box of bento to the big-boned boy. Idate, you are really my man. Cried Chouji. He quickly opened the bento and ate it. Idate, why you always give him a bento? Asked Shikamaru. Oh, I made a lot today, so I have more than enough for myself and my team. Moreover, Chouji likes my cooking and has a bottomless stomach. It makes me happy to know that someone likes my cooking, smiled Idate. Thank you for the meal, Idate. Said Chouji suddenly while he returned the empty bento box to Idate. Passed. Thought Idate and Kiba at same time. If I may say, this is an exam, not a picnic. You have to be more serious in this exam, interrupted Kabuto. Who are you? Asked Sasuke coldly. My rudeness, Uchiha-san. I am Yakushi Kabuto. I also am participating in this exam. There are many strong genin who are participating in this exam, especially from Suna and the new hidden village, Odo. Well, this is my 7th time I take the exam, so I have information on many genin. Would you like to know of any? Asked Kabuto. I want to know about Sabaku no Gaara and Rock Lee, said Sasuke. Oh, you already know their name. Okay. First, Sabaku no Gaara. Kabuto took a blank card and poured his chakra into the card. After he poured his chakra, some information appeared on the card. Here's what I have. He is son of the Kazekage. His teammates are his brother and sister, Sabaku no Temari and Sabaku no Kankuro. He is an ninjutsu specialist. Let's see his mission history, 1 C ranks, 10 B ranks, and check this out, 2 A ranks, and he's never had a single injury. You all better be careful with this one, said Kabuto. The next one, said Sasuke. Okay, Rock Lee, said Kabuto while he took another card. Here, Rock Lee. His Jounin instructor is Mido Guy, or the Green Beast of Konoha. His teammates are Tenten and Hyuga Niji. He is 1 year older than you are. He is a Taijutsu specialist, but he had a mess chakra system, so he could not use any ninjutsu or genjutsu. His record are 25 D rank, 15 C rank, 10 B rank and 3 A rank, said Kabuto. Is there anyone who's strong in this exam? Asked Sakura. I can say that all of them are strong genin, but there is one mysterious genin who participate this exam, said Kabuto while he pointed to Tauka. Looks like I have met that genin before, but where, wondered Idate. Can you look for her information? Asked Sakura. I will try, replied Kabuto, and he searched Tauka's information in his card deck. Ah, I found the data of a new genin from Konoha, said Kabuto. When he poured his chakra in that card, crimson flames suddenly burned the card into ash. What the, said Kabuto. When he said that, he felt someone look at him and release a huge amount killing intent that made his body numb. He had never felt a huge killing intent like that, even from Orochimaru. What's wrong? Asked Ino with a worried tone when she saw Kabuto's face became pale for a moment. Oh, I'm fine. Looks like someone was glaring at me, replied Kabuto. Crimson flame, crimson, don't tell me, thought Idate after he saw that flame. Okay, brats. We will begin the exam, so shut your mouths and sit down now. Shouted a big man who suddenly entered the room with a large number of chunin trailing behind him. Since I am here, I make the rules here. For the next 60 minutes, all of you will under my rule and you must obey me. My name is Marino Ibiki and I am the proctor for the first exam. The rule is simple. You just have to answer the questions in this paper test. There are 9 questions in this paper and I will give the 10th question in the last 5 minutes. The chunin here will hand out the paper test and anyone who caught cheating must leave this classroom along with his or her teammates, explained Ibiki. Nice, and you're really scary, thought Idate. About 55 minutes after the exam started, a few teams kicked out by the chunin. Ibiki examined the class and stood up. Alright, it's time for the 10th question. However, before I give you the question, I have an offer for you all. You can choose to not take the 10th question, announced Ibiki. If you don't take the 10th question then you and your team fail this exam and you can take it again next year. But, if you choose to take the question and give a wrong answer, then you and your team will never be allowed to take the CHUNIN exam ever again. Continued Ibiki. What the hell? There are plenty of genins here who have taken the exam before. Complained some genin. Some team began complaining and made the class into an uproar. Ibiki slammed his hand onto his desk and shocked all of the genin. Shut up. They were just lucky because they did not have me as their proctor before. Now, I am the proctor and I make the rules. Shouted Ibiki and the class became silent. There were few genin teams who left the class and only 20 teams remained. Okay, for you those remain in the class. You all passed the first exam, said Ibiki suddenly. All of the genin were shocked when they heard Ibiki. Eh? What about the 10th question? Asked Sakura and Ino in unison. The 10th question is to test your will to continue the exam despite the risk. Chunin must have an ability to decide whether to take risks on their missions, including a risk for his or her teammate, and for who cannot take a decision to complete the mission are not qualified for Chunin rank. You all here are truly suited to become a Chunin, explained Ibiki. Nai-san, you are the best, thought Idate with sparkling eyes. Why does he look like that? Whispered Ino to Shikamaru when she noticed Idate's face. Troublesome, he is in brother complex mode again, replied Shikamaru while he placed his hand in his face when he saw Idate. Suddenly some kunai shot from outside trough the window and hit the ceiling and floor and revealed a big banner with some kanji on it. A strange woman with a purple hair also appeared from behind the banner. I am the second proctor of this Chunin exam. The most beautiful, sexy and dangerous jounin from Konoha, Mitarashi Anko. Proclaimed the woman with a sexy pose. All of them just sweat dropped when they saw Anko's action. Boy, Ibiki, you passed 20 teams. Are you getting too old and lose your skill? Smirked Anko as she examined the class. No, just there are a lot of good genin this year, replied Ibiki calmly. Whatever, I will cut half of them in the next exam. All of you, brat. Follow me to your next test. Shouted Anko as she walked out and followed by all of the genin. After all of the genin left the room, Taka stood from her desk and walked out, followed the other genin. Give this to HOKAGE-sama, said Taka to Ibiki while she gave Ibiki a scroll before she left the classroom. So you are the one who HOKAGE-sama talked about before, said Ibiki. Taka just gave a nod and she left the classroom. The Chunin exam this year really interesting, a young girl like that had received a mission from Hokage himself, thought Ibiki while he saw Taka left the classroom. After several minutes, at the Forest of Death entrance. All of the genin arrived at a big forest entrance with a strong wire fence around it and a big sign with a word "keep out." It looked like an isolated forest with a very dangerous monster that lived within. Welcome to the Forest of Death, this is your next exam place. For the next 5 days, this is your new home, declared Anko. What do you mean? Interrupted Sakura in always want to know mode. Let me finish, little runt. I will give half of genin teams this heaven scroll and the other half this earth scroll, said Anko while she took 2 scrolls from her pocket. One had the kanji for heaven while the other had the kanji for earth. Your mission is to reach the tower in the middle of the forest with both of the scrolls in 5 days, so you have to take the other scroll from another team. I want all of you sign this paper before you take your scroll, continued Anko, taking out a piece of paper. What is this paper for? Interrupted Sakura again. You ask too much, Pinky. I'll kill you if you ask another question. However, since I'm in a good mood, all of the genin signed the paper and Anko gave them a scroll and a number when they gave the paper to her. The teams who have taken their scroll and the number can prepare in the front of Forest Gate just like the number that you have. Shouted one of the Chunin. Some genin teams who had taken the scroll headed to their gate. Taka sensed something wrong with a sound genin team, she noticed that one of them had a strong scent of snake while she gave her paper to Anko. Are you really a genin? Asked Anko when she received Taka's paper. Taka stayed silent and just gave her a nod. A quiet one, huh? Well, it better than always asking like the Pinky, I like you. Here, head to your gate now, said Anko while she gave Taka a heaven scroll and a paper with number 8. Taka headed to the gate number 8. She took a scroll from her pocket and unsealed her long katana and her twin ninjato. All genins. The second exam, begin. Shouted Anko loudly. All of the genins entered the forest at same time and disappeared into the shadows. After saw the entire genins entered the forest, Anko looked troubled. Anko-sama, what's wrong? Asked one of the Chunin who noticed Anko's expression. Looks like I forgot something, murmured Anko. She tried to remember hardly, but she could not remember. What is this? A genin voice echoed from inside the forest. After that voice, the entire Chunin could hear many genins screamed. Anko seemed noticed what she forgot. I remember now. I forgot to tell them about the monsters and wild beast. Shouted Enko. All of the Chunin felt with an anime-style fall. Deep inside the forest. Sasuke, Sakura and Idate jumped from the branch to branch while they searched for the other genin teams. That sadistic Jounin didn't tell us about the monsters. Complained Sakura. Yeah, but we have to concentrate on the exam now, right? Said Idate, receiving a punch to the face courtesy of Sakura. Don't teach me, Idate no baka. Shouted Sakura. Sakura. Thanks to you, the other genin had noticed and followed us, grumbled Sasuke, annoyed. He and Idate pulled out their kunai. You're welcome, Sasuke-kun replied Sakura with hearts in her eyes. Idate just sweat dropped when he saw Sakura's reaction. Fukuku, I found you, Sasuke-kun said a pale-skinned Kunoichi from Odo who appeared behind Team 7 along with her teammates. Team 7 jumped back and took a fighting stance. Who are you? Shouted Idate. Ah, you are Ibiki's younger brother. I don't have business with you, said the Odo Kunoichi. She commanded one of her teammates to attack Idate and the other one attacked Sakura. Both of the Odo nin got Idate and Sakura separated from Sasuke. Idate, do something. We have to help Sasuke-kun at once. Shouted Sakura. I know. But, can you just shut up, I cannot concentrate. Idate shouted back, pissed because of Sakura's behavior. One of the Odo nin charged at Idate with a barrage of shuriken. Idate grabbed Sakura's arm and jumped back to dodge the attack. Gee, I have to end this fast, thought Idate. He threw a barrage of kunai at the Odo nin. While they were distracted, he hit in the ground. Oden, Shinju's Anshu no Jutsu, Earth Release, Double Suicide Decapitation Technique, shouted Idate, grabbing both of the Odo nin's legs and pulling down them into the ground. When Sakura saw Idate successfully immobilize the Odo nins, she quickly charged and made the Odo nin fall unconscious with her punch. Quick, we have to help Sasuke-kun, said Sakura. She quickly jumped toward Sasuke's direction. Oi, don't command me like that, besides can you just forget your Sasuke-kun for a while, thought Idate, while he followed Sakura from behind. Not long after that, they found Sasuke still fighting the female Kunoichi. He had a hard time with the Kunoichi. Idate, help Sasuke-kun now. Commanded Sakura. What? Why me? Complained Idate. My looks like I underestimated them. Sasuke-kun, your friend just came back, said the female Kunoichi when she noticed Idate and Sakura while she made several hand seal. Ninpu, Kanashibari no Jutsu, Ninja Technique, Temporary Paralysis Technique, said the female Kunoichi. She released a huge killing intent and made Team 7 numb. On the other side of the forest, Taka felt that killing intent and she quickly dashed to Team 7's location. She is too strong, I am not strong enough. I need more power, thought Sasuke while his body shook in fear. What is this? Damn, I cannot move my body, thought Idate while he tried to make his body move. I will give you a gift, Sasuke-kun, said the Kunoichi. Her neck became longer and bit Sasuke's neck. Sasuke screamed in agony and felt unconscious after he received the bite. Sasuke-kun. Shouted Sakura with teary eyes and she also felt unconscious. Fukuku, now Sasuke-kun will search for me for power, said the Kunoichi. Idate barely could move his hand, he took a kunai from his kunai pouch and stabbed his own leg to release the paralysis. After that, he began to make hand seals. Suiton, Tepidama, water release, gunshot, shouted Idate while he shot a water bullet from his mouth and hit the Kunoichi's face directly. The Kunoichi scowled, pissed. You are become annoying, brat. Kusanagi no Tsurugi. Kuno Tachi, Sword of Kusanagi, Long Sword of Heaven, said the Kunoichi. She opened her mouth and a snake came out from her mouth and charged at Idate. When the snake got near Idate, a sword came out from the snake's mouth and was poised to stab him. Idate tried to evade the attack, but he could not move fast because he injured his own leg to release his body from paralysis state. After he evaded the first attack, he fell to the ground and the Odo Kunoichi cornered him. Is this the end of my life? Thought Idate while he closed his eyes and waited the sword stabbed him. Don't give up so easily like that, spoke someone in front of Idate. He slowly opened his eyes and saw someone with a petite body stood in front of him. Taka-chan, is that you? Asked Idate with a low voice so the Odo Kunoichi could not hurt him. Who are you? Asked a Kunoichi with anger in her tone. None of your business, replied Taka. If that's so, I will kill you along with him. Kusanagi no Tsurugi. Kuno Tachi. The Odo Kunoichi used the same attack as she did to Idate. That sword, it doesn't belong to you, said Taka when she noticed the sword. She leaped to the left and dodged the snake attack. She quickly drew her long katana and cut the snake's neck. The Odo Kunoichi screamed in agony and the snake dropped the sword. Taka quickly took the sword and sealed it into a scroll. How dare you? Shouted the Kunoichi. Fuiton, Tatapa, wind release, great breakthrough, said the Kunoichi while she blew a gust of wind from her mouth, but Taka quickly made several hand seals. Peyton, Kyubbi, fire release, fire dragon flame bullet, said Taka as she shot a large ball of flame-shaped dragon to the Odo Kunoichi. The Kunoichi's Tatapa just made Taka's Kyubbi bigger than usual. The Odo Kunoichi quickly jumped to evade Taka's attack, but some of flame burned her face and revealed a pale male face with eyes like a snake. Fukuku, you are quite clever, using a Kaiten when I used Futon Jutsu, but I have done my business. We will meet again, said the snake man, while his body turned into a mud. Taka sheathed her long katana back and she helped Ide to take the unconscious Team 7 to a cave near their current location. I think we will be safe here for a while, said Ide inside the cave. Sit on that stone, said Taka when she noticed Ide's wound. Ide did what Taka said. Taka placed her hand on his wound and she channeled a chakra to her hand. Her hand glowed green and Ide's wound slowly closed by itself. Since when you learn med jutsu? Asked Ide. Not long after the last time we met, replied Taka. You're still cold like the last time we met, Taka-chan smiled Ide. He gazed at the cave ceiling. Ah, I am saved by you again. It means I don't have enough power to protect myself and my team, continued Ide. Wrong, being strong does not mean only have a power, you also need a pure heart and strong will. As long as you have them, you will become stronger to protect someone who precious for you without fall into abyss, said Taka. If you only search a power, you only will meet a doom in the end. Fool, thought Ide as he stared at Taka's face. Don't look at me like that, complained Taka with a slight blush in her face. She felt a bit uneasy if someone stared at her face like that. I'm sorry, but you look so cool when you said that, smiled Ide. So what we have to do now? Asked Ide. You head to the tower, replied Taka. Eh? But, my team still doesn't have the second scroll, said Ide. I'll give you mine, said Taka. But, protested Ide. No buts. I have a spare scroll. I will guard you, interrupted Taka as she bit her thumb and made several hand seals. Fuchius no Jutsu, summoning technique, said Taka as she slammed her palm into the ground and a human-sized white tiger appeared in front of her. Do you need my help, Taka-sama? Asked the white tiger. Yes, Bayako-san. I need your help to carry them to the tower in the middle of this forest, replied Taka while she helped Ide to mount Sasuke and Sakura to Bayako's back. They quickly dashed to the tower. A few hours after that. In the red tower in the middle of the forest of death. The old HOKAGE was discussing something with Tsunade and Jiraiya in his special room when Ibiki entered. Report, sir, said Ibiki when he entered the room. Sarutobi just nodded his head. The number of genin teams who passed the first exam is 20. They are 1 from Suna, 4 from Odo, 5 from Iwa, 4 from Kiri, and 6 from Konoha, reported Ibiki. There were a lot of good genin in this exam, right? Said Sarutobi. Hi, Sandame-sama. I also had a scroll for you, sir, replied Ibiki while he gave the old HOKAGE a scroll with a kanji for report on it. Oh, looks like she did her mission perfectly like an experienced shinobi. You can leave now, Ibiki-san, thanks for your good work, smiled Sarutobi. Ibiki bowed and left the room. Of course, she was. She was our apprentice, stated Jiraiya and Tsunade in unison when Sandame opened the scroll. Sandame-sama, there was a genin named Yakushi Kabuto from Konoha. He had many information cards about genin who entered this exam. Information that I thought only you and the proctor had. There is something wrong with the Suna and Odo genin. You should be careful around them. End of report. Marin, I want you to give me a report about a genin named Yakushi Kabuto and about the Suna and Odo genin who entered the exam, commanded Sarutobi. What did she report? Asked Tsunade. She said that some information about the exam was leaked out and a Konoha genin named Yakushi Kabuto had that information. She also mentioned Suna and Odo, replied Sarutobi. I see, according my spy network, Odo and Suna are planning something for this exam. Our worst case scenario is they plan to invade Konoha, said Jiraiya. Rin entered with a large file. Here the file that you requested, sir, said Rin. Thank you, Rin. Please call Kakashi and the others here, said Sarutobi. Hi, Sandame-sama, replied Rin. Not long after that, Rin and the Jounin, including the Anbu and the proctor of the exam, entered the room. Did you call us, sir? Asked Ibiki. Yes, my agent mentioned that something is wrong with this exam. I want you to stand guard and be careful with the Suna and Odo genin, look like they are planning something with this exam, said Sarutobi. But, Sandame-sama. I thought Suna was our ally, said Kurenai. Yes, they are, but my spy network discovered they have had a lot of meetings with Odo since half a year ago, interrupted Jiraiya. We still didn't know who is behind this, but said Sarutobi, but he interrupted by a Chunin rushed entered the office. Enko-sama, there are 4 genins who have just entered this tower. Shouted the Chunin when he entered the room. What? It's impossible, only Jounin can reach this tower that fast, replied Enko. Why did Taka come to this tower so fast? Looks like something really wrong in this exam, thought Jiraiya. Who are they? asked Sarutobi. "The Team 7 and a female genin with a big white tiger, sir," said the Chunin. "We better see them right now," said Sarutobi, and all of them shined to the lobby. In the lobby, Sandame, HOKAGE and the other appeared with a large puff of smoke. They saw Sasuke and Sakura unconscious. Idate and Tauka were getting them down from the human-sized white tiger. "That girl," thought Anko when she saw Tauka. "Idate, are you okay?" asked Hibiki with worried tone. "Yes, Nai-san. I'm okay," replied Idate. "What happened to them?" asked Kakashi to Idate. "We were attacked by Odonin, but thanks to her, we were saved," replied Idate, while Tsunade examined Sasuke and Sakura. "Tauka-sama, please forgive me. I have to get back to my realm immediately," interrupted the white tiger suddenly to Tauka. "Thanks for your great work, Bayako-san," replied Tauka while she petted Bayako's head, and the white tiger disappeared with puff of smoke. "Tauka? Don't tell me she is as," thought Kakashi and Kurenai at same time. "Sensei, Sakura is just unconscious, but the Uchiha's condition is pretty bad and I know who attacked Team 7. "Take a look at this," interrupted Tsunade, and she showed a cursed mark in Sasuke's neck. "Orochimaru," said the old Hokage and Jiraiya at same time. "Jiraiya-sama, can you remove that seal from Sasuke?" asked Kakashi. "I don't think I can do that. That is too dangerous. There is only one way to remove that seal. You have to kill Orochimaru," replied Jiraiya. "You two have both of the scrolls?" interrupted Anko suddenly. "I," replied Idate, and he gave Anko the Heaven and Earth scroll. "You?" asked Anko to Tauka. Tauka also gave her both of the scrolls. "Good work, Tauka-chan. You can rest until the next exam. Rin, guide her to her room," said Sarutobi. Tauka nodded and she left the lobby with Rin to her room. "Sandame-sama, is she?" asked Kurenai. "Yes, you are right," you and Kakashi had met her in Wave. "Her name is Mizunaru Tauka and now she is Tsunade and Jiraiya's apprentice. Jiraiya let her enter the Chunin exam as an agent to give us the reports of the exam conditions," replied Sarutobi. "But she is so young," said Asuma. "Don't let her appearance deceive you. She is strong," said Kakashi. "Yosh. If my eternal rival said that, she must be strong. I have tell Lee that he has a strong opponent in this exam," shouted Guy, a flame of youth blazed in his eyes. I forbid you to tell anyone about her," cut Sarutobi. "But why?" asked Guy. "We still need to cover her identity so she can easily gather more information. More problematic right now is Uchiha Sasuke's cursed seal," replied Sarutobi. "Okage-sama, I have a way to bind it," said Kakashi. He made some seal array like a ritual circle on the floor, he placed Sasuke in the middle of the seal array, and he made several hand seals. "Fujihoin, evil sealing method," shouted Kakashi while he slammed his palm to Sasuke's neck. The seal array moved from the floor to Sasuke's neck and made a seal around his cursed seal. "Ooh, you have learned a seal method like that. Impressive, but that seal depend on its host's willpower," said Jiraiya. "Hi, Jiraiya-sama, but only this seal that I can make to bind the cursed seal," replied Kakashi. "Okay, send both of them to infirmary and I want all of you to stand guard, but do it secretly. I don't want the others, except those in here, to know about this, include the clan heads and the council. I will classify this information as S-rank info. I trust you all to keep this info secret. You can dismiss now," commanded Sarutobi. "Hi, Sandame-sama," replied all of the Jounin and then all of them headed back to their rooms to monitor the exam. Inside the Red Tower, in rest quarter. "Tauka-chan, this is your room. You can rest here until the next exam. If you want to train you may use the Jounin training rooms," said Rin when they arrived in Tauka's room. "Is it okay to use Jounin training rooms?" asked Tauka curiously. "It's okay, you don't want to let anyone see you train, right? Hokage-sama also thinks the same, so he gave me this key. You can train freely without anyone disturb you in there," smiled Rin while she gave Tauka a golden key. "Thank you, Rin-sama," said Tauka. "Ooh, Tauka-chan. Don't call me so formally like that, you embarrass me," replied Rin. "I'm sorry, Rin-sama, I didn't mean to embarrass you," said Tauka again. "Ooh, it's okay if you want to call me like that. Ah, Tauka-chan, there is a hot spring behind this tower if you want to refresh yourself, but because that is the only hot spring in this forest, anyone can use it," said Rin. Tauka's face became red when she heard that. Mixed bath, I'm not interested," replied Tauka quickly. "Hi. Kawaii. You are so cute," squealed Rin when she noticed Tauka's face and she enveloped Tauka in a bone-crushing hug. "The Sama, I cannot breathe," said Tauka. Rin quickly released Tauka. Gomen, I lost control for a while." "Well, if you don't want to use the hot spring, get some rest, Tauka-chan, you look like you need it. I have to get back to the Hokage's office, see you again," said Rin. She waved goodbye and left. Tauka entered her room, which was quite small but comfortable. She placed her long katana on a small table beside her bed along with her ninjados. She remembered the sword that she had taken from Orochimaru. She took out her sealing scroll and unsealed the sword, but the sword was engulfed with a thick purple chakra, so she concentrated her chakra in her hand to protect her petite hand from the corrupted chakra. "Poor sword, don't worry, I will purify you from this cursed chakra," said Taka. Taka untied her head protector, and her 9 tails tattoo glowed. Her chakra slowly wrapped around the sword and made the evil chakra disappear. Suddenly Taka's long katana, Ama no Murakumo no Tsurugi, also glowed and merged with Orochimaru's sword. "What happened?" murmured Taka as she grabbed her long katana and unsheathed it. The katana's blade shone brightly, and some ancient characters appeared in its blade. Suddenly she felt her head become heavier than usual, and she fell unconscious. Unknown place. Taka found herself inside a beautiful cave with many beautiful stalactites and a small river in the middle of the cave. You can imagine Naruto's mindscape, but change the sewer into a cave. "Where am I?" murmured Taka to herself as she examined the cave. She explored the cave by following the cave wall. Not long after that, she found a big stone dome far inside the cave with a small house like a shrine. There were 2 people sitting near the shrine, 1 man and 1 woman. The man was a black-haired man who wore a green kimono, and the woman looked like the carbon copy of the man, but in woman body with a long black hair, and wore a yellow kimono. "Ah, Taka-sama, finally you have found this dome," said the black-haired woman in a childlike voice when she saw Taka entered the dome. She looked excited when she saw Taka. "Just I expected from our mistress," said the black-haired man with a calm voice and a wide smile in his face. "Who are you?" asked Taka. "She didn't recognize us?" asked the black-haired woman while she faced the man. "Of course she didn't. She never saw us in this form," answered the black-haired man, and the man noticed Taka's confused face. "Sorry to confuse you, mistress. Let me introduce myself. I am Hikabashi," introduced the black-haired man. "And my name is Orihime, nice to meet you, mistress. We both wanted to say thanks to you for having purified us," smiled the woman. "Orihime Hikabashi, don't tell me you are," asked Taka, shocked. "Yep, we both are your ninjato, and you were the one who gave us the name," replied Hikabashi. "And where am I?" asked Taka. "You are in your own mindscape. You called her because that guy wanted to say something to you," said Orihime. "Orihime, don't say like that," corrected Hikabashi, and an anime-style sweat drop appearing on his head. "So, who is that guy?" asked Taka. "Oh, it isn't my place to tell you. You have found it by yourself, he is waiting for you inside that shrine." "Good luck," smiled Hikabashi while he pointed to the shrine in the middle of the stone dome. Taka entered the shrine, and she saw a long-haired man wore a long red cape with the kanji for storm, meditating in the middle of the shrine. The man slowly opened his eyes. The man had a pair of beautiful golden-colored eyes. "I am glad you found this place, my mistress," spoke the man. "If I may ask, who are you?" asked Taka. "My apologies, my mistress. My name is Susanoo, I am Ama no Murakumo no Tsurugi, or your katana's spirit. I wanted to say thanks to you for having restored the piece of my soul from the cursed sword," Kusanagi said. "Susanoo. Piece of your soul?" Taka looked confused. "Yes, my mistress. Kusanagi no Tsurugi, translation. Grass cutter sword, was originally made from my blade, Ama no Murakumo no Tsurugi. Therefore, when you purified the cursed sword with your power, the sword merged back to me. In other words, you have restored my soul. That's why I want to say thanks to you for restoring my soul, my mistress," said Susanoo while he bowed to Taka. "You don't have to do that, Susanoo-san," said Taka. She tried to stop Susanoo. She finally could stop Susanoo from bowing to her. "I will allow you to make a blood contract with me as a gift for you, so you can use me with my full potential," said Susanoo while he transformed himself into Taka's long katana. Susanoo-san, what should I do?" asked Taka. "Just drip a bit of your blood to the blade," Susanoo's voice echoed from Taka's katana. Taka did what Susanoo said, she cut her hand a little, and she dripped her blood to katana's blade. Suddenly an ancient word shone on the blade, and the blade was engulfed with a red chakra. A symbol of a fox's head with 9 tails suddenly engraved itself in the katana's blade. "From now, you can use me with all my full potential, and I will give you all knowledge about Mizunaru's technique that all of my previous masters have. Please use it for good and don't tell anyone about this," said Susanoo again. Taka felt a lot of knowledge filled her head, and Susanoo sent her back to real world. Back to real world, Taka's room. Taka slowly opened her eyes, and she saw Jiraiya and Tsunade sitting beside her bed worriedly. Looks like they who found Taka felt unconscious in her room. "Ah, you are awake, Taka-chan. You made me worried," cried Tsunade while she hugged Taka with motherly hug. "Taka-chan, why did you fall unconscious like that? We thought someone attacked you," said Jiraiya. He looked worried. "Sorry to make you worry, Abasama," Ajay-sama replied Taka. "Taka-chan, you didn't answer my question," said Jiraiya mock-annoyedly. I just used too much chakra for the previous exam, replied Taka. She lied because she remembered that Susanoo told her to keep her meeting with her sword soul as a secret. Jiraiya looked relieved when he heard Taka's answer, but he looked like still had a lot of questions for Taka. Jiraiya, let her rest, she is still tired. Taka-chan, we are in Sarutobi-sensei's office if you need us, just take a bit of sleep, okay? Said Tsunade while she pushed Jiraiya from Taka's room. Taka just gave her a little nod and she tried to rest a bit more before she tried her new knowledge that she received from Susanoo. Several days later. All of the genin who survived from the second exam gathered in a large hall inside the tower. There were 6 teams from Konoha, including Taka, 1 team from Suna, and 1 more team from Odo. The Sandaime HOKAGE with all of the jounin and the exam proctor entered the hall. First, congratulations to all of you who have finished the second exam. This second exam was to test your skill and experience as a team. Now we will begin the third path of this CHUNIN exam. First, we will hold a preliminaries exam, in which you all have to prove your individual skill, strength and experience as shinobi by fighting other genin. I will leave the explanation to the third exam proctor, HOKAGE. Good luck to you, announced the old HOKAGE. A sick-looking jounin gave a nod to Sarutobi and he jumped to the arena. Cough cough, hello, my name is HOKAGE, your third exam proctor. Cough cough, this third exam is mainly to see your skills as an individual, not as a team like the previous test. Therefore, you will have to fight the other genin to choose who will take the actual third exam, which will hold in public. Cough cough, the rules are simple. You can use weapons and all you need for this match, but you cannot kill your opponent. The match will stop if your opponent forfeits or is no longer in condition to fight. Cough cough, the matches will be chosen at random and the names will be displayed on the screen, explained HOKAGE while he pointed to a big screen. Sensei, are you crazy? You still let a sick jounin to do his duty as a shinobi. You tell him to come to me after this exam, I will fix him, whispered Tsunade to the Sandaime. She looked annoyed when she heard Hate's cough. He was like that since he joined Konoha rank, but he always did his job perfectly. So I never mind his cough as a sickness, Sarutobi whispered back. But he is more like a dying man than a ninja, chimed in Jiraiya. Tsunade nodded her head, agreeing with him. Don't say that, he is one of my best jounin and he is also a kenjutsu expert. Ah, looks like the exam has begun, replied Sarutobi when he noticed that the screen had begun to flash. The screen stopped on the names Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino. Cough cough, Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino, cough cough, please enter the arena, said Hayate, and Ino and Sakura entered the arena. Cough cough, first match begin. Announced Hayate. Sakura and Ino began their catfight, like in the anime, with a double KO as the result. The next matches were Uchiha Sasuke vs Yoroi, Nara Shikamaru vs Kin, Akamichi Choji vs Dozu, Sabaku no Kankuro vs Misumi, and Abiram Shino vs Aku. The 7th match was Inyazuka Kiba vs Marino Idate. Cough cough, Inyazuka Kiba and Marino Idate, cough cough, please enter the arena, cough cough, announced Hayate. Woohoo! Finally our turn. Let's do our best, right, Akamaru? Shouted Kiba while he jumped to the arena. Akamaru barked, agreed with his master. Looks like I have a handicap, said Idate weakly while he walked to the stair. Idate-kun, gee, good luck, said Hinata when Idate passed her. A heavy blush appeared in her face. Arigato, Hinata-chan, replied Idate with a wide smile in his face. When Hinata heard that Idate had called her name with the suffix chan, her face became red and she fainted. Kurenai quickly grabbed her before she hit the floor. Hinata, wake up, said Kurenai while she shook Hinata's body to wake her. Yo, let's have a nice fight, right? Smiled Kiba when he saw Idate come to the arena. Yeah, I won't lose to you, Idate smiled back while he took his fighting stance. Cough cough, 7th match begin. Cough cough, announced Hayate. Idate charged Kiba and flung at him a barrage of shuriken. Kiba used the same move and all of the shuriken hit each other while Idate and Kiba fought with pure taijutsu. Well, looks like they are equal, said Kakashi while he saw their fight from the balcony. No, I think Kiba is stronger than Idate, he wasn't used his teamwork with Akamaru yet, replied Kurenai. Nice fight, Idate. However, I have to serious now. Akamaru, said Kiba and Akamaru barked back. Kiba threw a soldier pill to Akamaru and suddenly Akamaru's fur turned from white to red. Yujin Bushin, human beast clone, shouted Kiba and he changed his look, became more feral while Akamaru copied him. There were 2 Kibas on the arena. Atsuga. Double piercing fang, shouted Kiba and Akamaru while they spun their body and made a twin spiral attack to Idate with a high speed. Ooh, I never heard about these attack. Complained Idate while he ran away from the twin spiral attack as fast as he could. Why did he just run away? Asked Kurenai to Kakashi. Don't underestimate his speed, replied Kakashi with calm voice. When Kurenai heard Kakashi's reply, she looked to Idate and found that Idate was not an ordinary genin. Kiba's attack could not reach him because of Idate's running speed faster than Kiba's attack. What an incredible youthful running speed, murmured Guy when he saw Idate's youthful running. "Sensei, we cannot lose to this youthful being," shouted Rock Lee. "Yosh. Lee, if we cannot run like him. We have to do 1000 sit UPS and push UPS," replied Guy with a burning eyes, and he hugged Lee tightly. Suddenly a scene of a beach with many rocks and a blazing sunset appeared around them. "Sensei. Lee. Sensei. Lee. Sensei. Lee. Sensei." Everyone who saw that sweat dropped, but Taka, who never saw that, thought it was a genjutsu. She made a hand seal and tried to dispel the genjutsu, but she never could dispel it. "Taka-chan, don't waste your chakra on this genjutsu. You never can dispel it, it is the only genjutsu that is stronger than Tsukiyomi, even an Uchiha with a Magiku Sharingan cannot escape from this genjutsu," smiled Kurenai when she saw Taka trying so hard to dispel the genjutsu. A slight blush appeared on Taka's cheeks and she lowered her head so that her front hair covered her upper face to hide her blush. "Hey, don't just run away like a little girl. Come on, face me," shouted Kyubbi, stopping his attack. "Like hell I want to be hit with attack like that," replied Idate, anger mark throbbing on his forehead. "DCH, Akamaru, we have to corner him and attack him from both sides," said Kyubbi. Akamaru just nodded. They ran to different side and both of them threw a kunai with an explosive tag. "Wow, an explosive tag," shouted Idate when he noticed the kunai with explosive tag landed near his foot. Idate jumped to avoid the explosion, but Kyubbi smirked and attacked him while he was in the air. "Atya. Gatsuuga. Double piercing fang," shouted Kyubbi while he and Akamaru launched their attack again. "Aokami, why do you hate me?" shouted Idate when he saw the attack come. He quickly grabbed his kunai holster and threw it to the empty area. Right before the attack reached him he made a hand seal. "Awarimi no jutsu. Body replacement technique," shouted Idate and he replaced himself with the kunai holster that he threw before. Kyubbi's attack ripped the kunai holster and many explosive tags were revealed. "Phew, that was close," said Idate while he inhaled a deep breath. The explosion hit Kyubbi and Akamaru, knocking them out instantly. "Winner. Marino Idate." Cough cough, announced Hade and the medic team entered the arena and took the unconscious Kyubbi and Akamaru to the infirmary. "I didn't know that Idate could think a counter-attack like that. Looks like I have underestimated your student," Kakashi said Kurenai. "Me either. I didn't know that he could think like that," replied Kakashi with a calm voice. Kurenai just sweat dropped when she heard Kakashi. "Are you really his teacher?" Though Kurenai. Idate came to the balcony and Choji and Shikamaru gave him congratulation while Hinata shyly gave him an ointment. Cough cough, the next match cough cough, Hyuga Hinata vs Hyuga Niji. Cough cough, both genin please enter the arena, said Hade. Hinata and Niji slowly entered the arena. Cough cough, 8th match begin, announced Hade. Both Hinata and Niji took their family fighting stance, Jaiuken, gentle fist. Both of them charged and hit each other with their family technique, but unfortunately for Hinata, Niji had taken initiative to close her Tenketsu. Niji could easily land his palm to Hinata's chest and messed her chakra system around heart and lung. Hinata wasn't gave up easily, thanks to Idate's cheer. However, her toughness made Niji blinded with anger and tried to kill Hinata. All of the Jounin sensed Niji's killing intent and quickly tried to stop him, but suddenly Taka threw her long katana between Niji and Hinata. The surprise attack quickly made Niji jump back in surprise and glared to a little girl with a hood covered her face who threw her weapon to him. Taka shunshine to the arena and she checked Hinata, who threw up a lot of blood from her mouth. "Why did you stop me?" asked Niji with hateful eyes. Taka ignored him, she turned back and quickly used her medic jutsu to stabilize Hinata's condition. "Don't ignore me," shouted Niji while he activated his Byakugan and charged Taka, who busy treated Hinata. "Mizunaru Ryu, Genryu Shugeheki, Mizunaru style, illusionary dragon protection wall," whispered Taka with a low voice. She made a single hand seal with her left hand while her right hand treated Hinata. Her chakra twisted madly around her and made a protection dome with the shape of dragon that completely covered her and Hinata and blocked Niji's attack. "What is that? It looks like Hyuga clan's Kaiten," shocked all Jounin who saw Taka's defense. Niji gritted his teeth and he attacked the barrier dome, but all Jounin grabbed him and stopped his movement. "Enough, Niji. You were already won," said Guy while he grabbed Niji from behind. "Aka-chan, it's enough, let the medic nin do their job," said Tsunade softly when she noticed that Hinata's condition became stabilized. Taka dispelled her technique and let the medic nin took Hinata to infirmary. All of them came back to the balcony. "Hey, dope, I had a feeling that I have met that Chibi genin," said Sasuke to Idate. "Well, it isn't my place to tell you. You'll find that out soon. And don't call me dope, Sasuke team," replied Idate with mocking tone. "HNN," replied Sasuke. Cough cough, the next match cough cough, Sabaku no Gara vs Ikushi Kabuto. Cough cough both genin, please enter the arena said Hade. Gaara CHUNIN to the arena with his sand, but Kabuto raised his hand. I forfeit. My chakra wasn't fully restored yet from the previous exam, said Kabuto, and he left the hall. Cough cough winner Sabaku no Gaara, announced Hade. Gaara looked disappointed that he hadn't had a match. The next match was Sabaku no Tamari vs Tenten, in which Tenten lost spectacularly. Cough cough the last match cough cough Rock Lee vs Mizunari Taka cough cough both of the genin, please enter the arena announced Hade. Sasuke's eyes widened when he heard Taka's name. What the why could she take the Chunin exam? Thought Sasuke in his mind. He wanted to ask Kakashi for the explanation, but Kakashi only said later as he raised his protector and revealed his Sharingan. Sasuke knew what Kakashi would do, he also activated his Sharingan with a hope that he would copy Taka's technique. Cough cough last match begin. Cough cough announced Hade with a heavy cough. Rock Lee dashed to Taka and gave her several punches and kicks, but Taka could easily evade all of his attacks. You're pretty fast, Mizunari-san, but I haven't done yet, said Rock Lee, and he gave Taka a barrage of punches and kicks, one of his attack nearly hit Taka's face. That attack made her hood fall and revealed her face. Lee's jaw dropped to floor and stopped his attack when he saw Taka's face. Lee, what are you doing? Shouted Guy when he saw Lee stopped his attack. Sensei, I cannot hit a girl, especially a little girl like her replied Lee. I know your youthful feeling, but you're in the middle of the match. You have to fight like a youthful martial artist, even if your opponent is a girl like her. Roared Guy with burning eyes. Hi, Guy Sensei. Shouted Lee. He took his fighting stance once again and charged Taka. Taka just evaded all of Lee's attacks. Nah, Kakashi Sensei, why is she just avoiding Lee's attacks? Asked Idate. Maybe she is too afraid to attack interrupted Sasuke with a mocking tone. Deem growled Idate. He wanted to punch Sasuke's face, but he stopped by Kakashi. You're wrong, Sasuke. Look carefully said Kakashi, both of the genin examined Taka's movement. She can perfectly evade the attack don't tell me said Sasuke. Yes, you're right. She just examined Lee's movement while she evaded all of his attacks, said Kakashi. Sasuke just gritted his teeth. Lee, I allow you to release that. Guy suddenly shouted from the balcony. Lee stopped his attack when he heard his sensei shouted. But, Guy Sensei. You told me that I only could release that to protect my precious person, protested Lee. This is a special case. I only allow you to release that for now, replied Guy with a nice guy pose. What do you mean that? Don't tell me you said Kurenai while Guy gave her back a nice guy pose as a reply that made her sigh. Hi, Guy Sensei. Yosh, Mizunari-chan, I will be serious from now said Lee, while he took off his legging and threw it to the floor. The floor crushed when it contacted with the legging. When Taka saw that, she also took of her long coat and threw it, which revealed her petite body with the Anbu-style suit. It can be said Azuma when he saw Taka's coat. What's matter, Azuma? Asked Kurenai. Guy and Kakashi looked confused why Azuma suddenly shocked like that. Look at her coat said Azuma, while he pointed to Taka's coat that lay in the arena floor. There were some seal with kanji gravity revealed inside the coat. Gravity seal said Kakashi with shocked eyes. What is a gravity seal, Kakashi sensei? Asked Sakura who just regained her conscious right before Lee took off his weight. Nice question. Gravity seal is one of the few ninjutsu or seal technique that can manipulate the gravitation for the object which the seal written. In short, if you place a gravity seal on some object, you can make a heavy object to become lighter vice versa, explained Kakashi as he began his lecture mode. In the other word, that girl's gravity seals are same like Lee's weight, but not like Lee's weight, if you add more chakra to the seal more weight that you receive. I wonder how much chakra that she added to the seal cut-in Guy. Don't interrupt me, you stupid crazy bowl cut hairstyle freak thought Kakashi, while he glared at Guy who disturbed his explanation. Back to arena, Lee charged Taka with his full speed and gave her a roundhouse kick. Taka ducked and swept Lee's foot away. Both of them fought with a taijutsu in high speed, so anyone in that lobby only could saw a blur movement. What a high-speed battle said Kurenai. She can follow Lee with his full speed. I can't believe it, said Guy with shocked tone. You can't underestimate her. She was trained by two legendary Sannin said Kakashi while he closed his Sharingan. Sensei, why you close your Sharingan? Asked Sakura when she saw Kakashi closed his Sharingan. Even with Sharingan, I still could not follow their movement, replied Kakashi while he took his Icha from his pocket and began to read it. DCH said Sasuke and he deactivated his Sharingan. After that, a huge explosion formed in the middle of the arena, caused the lobby filled with smoke. When the smoke cleared, all of them could saw Taka and Lee stood beside a huge crater in the middle of the arena. Lee breathed heavily while Taka just had several bruises, but her breath still stable. Lee looked at Guy and Guy gave him a nice guy pose. I'm sorry, Mizunari-chan, but I have to win this fight, said Lee while he took a stance. Celestial gate open. Shouted Lee, and he charged Taka. This time his speed doubled, Taka could barely evade his attack, but she could deliver a blow to Lee and made him hit the wall. Life gate open. Shouted Lee again, and all of his injuries regenerated for itself. Taka, you have to stop him before he opened the other gate. That was a forbidden technique, he will die if he opened more than 5 gates. Shouted Tsunade when she saw Lee open the second gate. Taka nodded and she unsheathed her long katana. She closed her eyes and began to concentrate her chakra. Suddenly her 9 tails tattoo glowed brightly behind her head protector and some ancient word glowed on her katana. A vortex of wind formed around her katana and some leaves entered the lobby via the window. All of the leaves joined the wind vortex in Taka's katana. What is that? Asked the old Hokage. I don't know, sensei. I never saw this before, replied Tsunade. It's one of her clan technique, Mizunari Ryu Kenjutsu, Mizunari style swordplay, just like she did to protect herself from Niji's attack, but this one is one of her offensive technique, not a defensive technique like before, said Jiraiya. Lee used his full speed to charge Taka, he looked disappeared from the arena. Taka suddenly opened her eyes, which revealed a pair of bright crimson eyes with a yellow slit in the middle of her eyes, and her eyes examined the arena like a predator who searched a prey. Lee suddenly attacked Taka from behind with a blur movement, but Taka suddenly disappeared from her current place when Lee reached her. Lee shocked that Taka could read his movement and scanned the arena to search her. Mizunari Ryu Kenjutsu, Haiden, Go no Kata, Ha no Arashi Saujakiha. Mizunari style swordplay secret technique, 5th form, stormy impact of leaf, shouted Taka, who suddenly appeared in the air a few meters from Lee. She swung her katana vertically and the wind vortex released from her blade, which made a big-sized tornado attack with some leaf inside the tornado. And you can imagine Inuyasha's Bakuryuha. The attack hit Lee and made him hit the wall, creating another huge crater. Hayate was shocked when he saw Taka's attack, but he quickly checked Lee's condition and announced that Lee was unconscious, which made Taka the winner of the match. What a powerful sword technique, is this her secret technique? Asked Guy. Indeed, but I never saw she use wind, we only saw her use water before when she fought Zabuza and Nami, replied Kurenai, while she saw the medic team carried Lee to infirmary. Taka took her coat and she shunshined back to Tsunade and Jiraiya's side. Taka-chan, thanks for your good work, said Tsunade with a soft smile when Taka back to the balcony. Taka-chan, your eyes still, said Shizune when she saw Taka's eyes still in feral mode. Ah, sorry, replied Taka, she closed her eyes and her eyes back to crimson-colored eyes when she opened her eyes again. Jiraiya, mind to tell me what that is? Asked the Sandaime when he noticed Taka's eyes. You can call that as her bloodline, but actually it is her unique eyes, she named it Kyubbi's eyes, you know why she used that name, but we both disagreed with her and we named it Shinkaugen, flash eye. With those eyes, she can see any object around her move slower than normal. That's why she could saw Lee's movement when he had opened 2 gates and her speed increased 10 times, but the problem was if she still couldn't handle a sudden change in speed, she can only used it 10 minutes in a day, said Jiraiya. That's why Jiraiya placed a gravity seal in Taka's coat and we trained her in speed so she can follow her opponent who has a speed like Lee without using her Shinkaugen, continued Tsunade while she petted Taka's hair. A great skill always uses a great sacrifice as well, murmured the Sandaime. He remembered that Minato used a great technique to seal Kyubbi, but his technique required his life as sacrifice. Okage-sama, cough cough, it is time for you to announce the next exam, cough cough, said Hayate. Thanks for your great work, Hayate. Ah, Tsunade wanted to check your health, I think she can cure your cough problem, said the Sandaime. Arigato, Hokage-sama. Cough 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 cough, replied Hayate with happy voice, but at least his cough became worse. Anbu with a cat mask just petted his back to help him stop his cough. The Sandaime and the proctors shunshined to the arena. Congratulations for you who have won in this exam, and for you who have lost, don't worry, you still can take the exam next year. So train hard, you will be a Chunin in no time. Now, I will announce the next exam, announced the old Hokage, and he gave a signal to the proctors. One of the proctors walked to the Hokage with a box in his hand. The next exam is a tournament which will be held next month. In that tournament all of the village's council and the head clan will see the tournament as well, so you have to give your best to prove that you are worthy to have a Chunin title. Now you have to take a paper inside this box to see whom your opponent is and prepare to fight him or her in next month, continued the Sandaime. Old Genin took the paper inside the box and gave it to the other proctor who wrote their name on a whiteboard. Here is the tournament list. Match 1. Hyuga Niji vs Uchiha Sasuke. Match 2. Dozu vs Marino Idate. Match 3. Sabaku no Tamari vs Nara Shikamaru. Match 4. Sabaku no Kankuro vs Aburame Shino. Match 5. Mizunari Tauka vs Sabaku no Gara. This is the match for next month. All of you must train hard and give your best performance in the 4th exam next month. Now you can ask your Jounin instructor to train you. Good luck, announced the Sandaime. He and all of the proctors, included Jiraiya, Tsunade, Shizune and Taka, left the lobby via Shunshin. Kakashi-sensei, can you, said Idate with a wide smile in his face, not long after the 3rd exam finished. Idate, I'm sorry, I can't train you. I have to train Sasuke and Kakashi. But I started Idate again, his smile sliding slowly off his face. You heard that, dope. He has to train me for the 4th exam, not you, said Sasuke mockingly. Team, growled Idate. He lifted his hand, ready to punch Sasuke's face, but Kakashi stopped him. Idate, please understand me. I have to train Sasuke, but I, said Kakashi softly and tried to tell Idate his training that he had planned. He didn't want to abandon his student, but the council had forced him to train the Uchiha. Idate, no baka, don't be selfish. Kakashi-sensei has to make Sasuke stronger. He is an Uchiha, an elite, not a dope like you, cut in Sakura, who just joined the conversation. Fine. I don't need any help, I will train alone. Shouted Idate while he ran as fast as he could and left them. Idate, wait. Shouted Kakashi, tried to stop Idate, but he was too late, Idate already vanished from their sight. Great, that pink banshee just made the situation worse. Idate, I'm so sorry, growled Kakashi in his mind. They didn't know that Ibiki, Idate's big brother, saw them, and he really disappointed when he saw how Kakashi and Idate's teammate did. On Hokage's office. The Sandaime, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and several Anbu squads discussed about their plan for the next exam inside the Hokage office. Suddenly, they heard someone knocking on the door. Excuse me, Hokage-sama. Ibiki-sen requested a meeting with you, said Rin from the other side of the door. Thank you, Rin. Send him here, replied the Sandaime while he made a signal to dismiss the Anbu. Not long after that, Ibiki entered the office and bowed to the Sandaime, Tsunade and Jiraiya. What can I do for you, Ibiki-san? Asked the Sandaime. Hokage-sama, I need your permission to train my little brother, said Ibiki. What's wrong with Idate? Didn't Kakashi who will train him for the next exam? Asked Tsunade. Let me guess, the council forced Kakashi to train the Uchiha, guessed Jiraiya. The Sandaime just nodded. That's why I always hate those old geezers, murmured Tsunade softly. By the way, Ibiki-san, you know the proctors rule that any Jounin or Chunin who are proctors cannot be allowed to train the participant. Sorry, but I can't allow you to train Idate, said the Sandaime. I understand, Hokage-sama, replied Ibiki while he lowered his head a bit. He already knew that rule, but he still wanted to help his little brother. Well, if he can't train Idate, I can train him, suggested Jiraiya suddenly. Ibiki's eyes widened when he heard that one of legendary Sannin wanted to help his little brother. Not only Ibiki who surprised, Tsunade and the Sandaime surprised that Jiraiya would say that. What? Asked Jiraiya when he noticed all of them saw to him. I never thought you would say like that, said the Sandaime, who's still shocked. Nah, I just saw that Idate had a lot potential to become a powerful shinobi. Beside, I don't mind to train one more people, replied Jiraiya. But, you can't corrupt him to become a pervert like you, said Tsunade annoyedly, hiding her surprise. Tsunade, you have to trust me. I won't make him a pervert because I am not a pervert. I am a super pervert. Shouted Jiraiya. Tsunade growled and clobbered him on the head. Well, if he said that, I'm sure he will make Idate stronger, said Tsunade to Ibiki while she dragged the unconscious Jiraiya from the office. Thank you very much, Tsunade-sama. Replied Ibiki while he bowed to Tsunade. So, it had been settled. I will give you where you can find Jiraiya and the others, but you have to keep silent about this. You can go and collect him now, said the Sandaime while he tossed a scroll to Ibiki. Thank you, Hokage-sama, said Ibiki while he left the office. Ah, the people always change, murmured the Sandaime. He remembered that Jiraiya swore that he wouldn't take anyone under his wing again since Minato's death. But there are also several things that can't change. Kami, why you hate me so much? Said the Sandaime with a sad voice when he saw some pillars of paperwork that Rin had placed on his desk. The No has training ground 7. Arg. They really pissed me off. Shouted Idate while he punched a log angrily several times. The skin on his hand was already covered with his own blood, and suddenly a hand grabbed his bloody hand and stopped him from punching the training log again. Idate turned around and saw his brother standing behind him. Idate, you shouldn't injure your hand like this, spoke Ibiki softly while he treated Idate's hand. Behind his scary face, Ibiki always cared and was so protective to his little brother. Nai-san, I replied Idate. I know about Kakashi who didn't want to train you, but I had requested someone else who will train you for the next exam. Follow me, said Ibiki when he finished treated Idate's wound and ready to leave the training ground. Hi, Nai-san, replied Idate, and he followed his brother and head to the Hokage Mountain. In the woods on Hokage Mountain. Nai-san, why we should climb the Hokage Mountain? Asked Idate curiously. "To meet your trainer for the next exam," replied Ibiki. "But, I think why we didn't use the training ground. This is too far from Konoha," said Idate. "Stop complaining, Idate. You are a shinobi now, don't be so selfish like that," said Ibiki. Not long after that conversation, Ibiki noticed that a genjutsu covered the entire woods. "Hi!" shouted Ibiki while he placed his hand on Idate's shoulder to dispel the genjutsu. After the genjutsu dispelled, they could saw a big meadow with a beautiful waterfall and a mid-size wooden house near the falls. "What a beautiful place, it's so peaceful here," said Idate. Ibiki just nodded, agreed with his little brother. However, suddenly they could heard a big crashed sound from the wooden house, followed by a flying Jiraiya who landed near them. "I take my word back," said Idate when he saw that. Ibiki once again agreed with his little brother. "How many times I have to tell you? Don't go inside the hot spring when Taka took her bath," shouted an angry Tsunade with a tick pulsing on her forehead while Shizune tried to calm her down. "I'm sorry, I didn't know that she was inside the hot spring. Besides, she just 8 years old, her breasts had not grew yet," complained Jiraiya, half shouting. "Why you still peep on her, god, she is your granddaughter, but you still peep on her. I will send you to the Hell Gate right now, die pervert," shouted Tsunade with venom in her voice, a massive killing intent leaking from her body. Shizune, who had tried to calm Tsunade, jumped back, she never seen her sensei so angry like that. "I have told you several times I'm not a pervert, I'm a super pervert," Jiraiya shouted back. Tsunade charged Jiraiya and gave him a barrage of her superpower punch. "Ah, I'm sorry, didn't notice you, Idate-san, and said Shizune when she saw Idate and Ibiki. "It's okay, Shizune. This is my Nai-san," replied Idate cheerfully. "My name Marino Ibiki, Idate's older brother. Nice to meet you," introduced Ibiki. "I'm Shizune, Tsunade's first apprentice." "Nice to meet you too," replied Shizune. "Are they always like this?" asked Idate to Shizune when he saw that Tsunade made Jiraiya as her punching bag. Jiraiya-sama always accidentally uses the hot spring when Taka-chan takes her bath. I think Taka-chan doesn't mind it because he is her grandfather, but Tsunade-sama forbids Jiraiya to use the hot spring when Taka takes her bath," replied Shizune, sighing. "Maybe Tsunade-sama feared that Jiraiya-sama used Taka-chan for his pervert novel," thought Shizune and Idate at same time. "Ah, Ibiki, Idate, you are already here. I'm sorry but I have to give this old pervert several lessons. If you don't mind, you can wait inside our house," said Tsunade with a bloody Jiraiya near her leg. "I told you I'm not a pervert, I'm super pervert," said Jiraiya with a weak voice. "Just shut up," shouted Tsunade while she punched Jiraiya's face hard, making him unconscious. "Tsunade-sama, please don't kill Jiraiya-sama," said Ibiki, and an anime-style sweat drop appearing on his head. "Nah, don't worry, I will just make him half no most likely 99% dead," replied Tsunade with a malicious smirk on her face while she dragged Jiraiya's body to the woods. "Scarier than Nai-san," thought Idate, his body shook with fear. "Scarier than Anko," thought Ibiki, he also got scared when he saw Tsunade like that, more so than he did around Anko.